This audiobook is a non-profit fan adaptation of the web novel The Primitive Ancient Snake. All credit goes to the original author. If you're the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 1551. Wait, where's Gu Shixiang? Where did Gu Shixiang go? At this moment, Han Qing's heart moved. He found that Gu Shixiang was not here. He didn't seem to have come out of the Chaos Tower. He didn't know where he went. He looked around and found no trace of Gu Shixiang. Damn it, who is climbing the 900-story Chaos Tower? At this moment, a quasi-sage couldn't help shouting, as if he saw something.
What?
Climb the 900 floors of the Chaos Tower? Could it be that a certain quasi-sage had a huge enlightenment and broke through the 900-level Chaos Tower in one fell swoop? Who is it? Oh my god, it seems that our universe virtual company has another extremely powerful person. The 900-story Chaos Tower. I wonder if I will have the chance to climb it before I ascend to the God Realm. Many quasi-sages were amazed. They discovered that someone actually climbed the 900-story Chaos Tower. It was really unbelievable and caused a huge sensation among many quasi-sages. No, my god, I passed it. I passed the 900-story Chaos Tower. The speed was too fast. How could it be so fast? Could it be that even the 900-story Chaos Tower level couldn't stop him? A quasi-saint is simply unbelievable. He knows how terrifying the 900-story Chaos Tower is. Over the past generations, countless geniuses have tried to break through, but only a few have been able to pass. But this mysterious quasi-saint is so easy. Breaking through is enough to prove the terrifying strength of the opponent. Who is it who has broken through the 900 floors of the Chaos Tower? It's unclear. This person seems to be entering the Chaos Tower for the first time and leaving his name in the Chaos Tower for the first time, so no one has ever known his true identity before. What a joke! The first time he broke into the Chaos Tower, he actually broke into the 900th floor of the Chaos Tower. What level of monster was this? Did he never enter the Chaos Tower before he was promoted to Quasi-Saint? Could it be that he is not a quasi-sage of our universe's virtual company, but a casual cultivator from the outside world? Many quasi-sages were discussing this person's identity with great curiosity. What happened? Why do these powerful people seem to be in chaos? What are they talking about? It seems to be saying that a great power has broken through the 900 levels of the Chaos Tower, causing many great powers to be shaken. No. Do you know what it means to break through the 900-story Chaos Tower? Such strength can still be invincible in the fairy world, enough to become the domain lord of a fairy domain and control a territory of hundreds of millions of light years. Could it be that another powerful person at the Immortal realm level will be born? Many geniuses were also shocked. Although the cultivation level of quasi-sage is really far away from them, it does not prevent them from discussing this matter. Because they also have absolute confidence that they will be promoted to quasi-saint in a short time. Holy! Sooner or later, they will be able to compete with the geniuses of the older generation. Now, could it be Gu Shixiang who broke into the 900-story Chaos Tower?
Ankin's smote Wuxia.
He looked around, but he still didn't see Gu Shixiang. Deep in his heart, he couldn't help but have a guess. That is, the existence that broke into the 900-level Chaos Tower was Gu Shixiang. But when he thought about it carefully, this matter was almost impossible and simply unbelievable. After all, Gu Shixiang was just a human being like himself. How could he be so tyrannical? To be honest, it's impossible. It must be Gu Shixiang. The Book of Dan said. But isn't his cultivation level sealed and his cultivation level is the same as ours, and he is just a human immortal? With the magic power of a human immortal, he can actually break into the 900-story Chaos Tower. Han Qing couldn't believe it. There is nothing impossible. Although his current cultivation level is just that of a human immortal, his body is different. His body has been tempered to be more terrifying than any known divine body. Even if he does not have any magic power, with such strength, he can easily kill a quasi-sage. The Book of Dan said matter-of-factly. No wonder he dared to physically cross the void without fear of the turbulent flow of the void. It turned out that his body was so abnormal. Han Qing was speechless and didn't know what to say. Otherwise, how can we say that he is a monster among monsters? Even books of magical powers like ours have to give in and dare not reveal his aura and body shape at all. Once leaked, he will definitely be captured. The Book of Dan said helplessly. It thinks this is a matter of course. After all, Gu Shixiang is the direct descendant of that person, which is equivalent to Gu Shixiang being the son of the god of creation. Who can compare with him? Damn it, I broke through the 930th floor of the Chaos Tower again. Too fast, I couldn't stop him at all. A quasi-sage couldn't help but exclaimed. He has already passed through the 940th floor of the Chaos Tower. He has no intention of slowing down at all. He is moving forward at a constant speed. It is too fast. It is really too fast. What level does his combat power limit reach? The Chaos Tower above the 900th floor already has the combat power of the Chaos Demon God among quasi-saints. Every quasi-saint can reach this level of combat power, which is equivalent to those demon gods born from chaos, but this mysterious powerhouse, but it is so abnormal. Breaking the levels of the Chaos Tower is as easy as eating and drinking water. The 950th floor of the Chaos Tower, the 960th floor of the Chaos Tower, and the 970th floor of the Chaos Tower were all unable to stop him. Oh my god, he had already climbed to the 980th floor of Chaos as he spoke. Tower? Are you kidding me? Is he going to climb the 1,000-story Chaos Tower when he reaches the top? Come on, come and see. A legendary figure has entered the Chaos Tower and is about to break into the 1,000-level Chaos Tower. In an instant, many quasi-sages shouted in excitement. They immediately called friends and brothers through the communicator to watch and witness this historic scene. Whoosh whoosh. They were originally comprehending the sky above Taichu City. The quasi-sages of the law of heaven and earth, after learning the news, also put down their cultivation and went to the Chaos Tower to watch this scene curiously. After all, there are very few beings who have broken into the Chaos Tower above the 980th floor. Over the past billions of years, it has only happened a few times, but now it has appeared once, which is really incredible. In other words, they are witnessing the birth of a legend. Oh my god, he really climbed up to the 999th floor of the Chaos Tower. He was so fast that not even the 999th floor of the Chaos Tower could stop him. Now he has passed the 999th floor of the Chaos Tower. If he passes the 999th floor of the Chaos Tower, then he will be the strongest quasi-sage in history.
Impossible.
If it is possible to climb the 999th floor of the Chaos Tower, but if you want to pass the 999th floor of the Chaos Tower, it is simply a dream. But looking at the speed of his climb, it doesn't mean it's impossible. Many quasi-sages are extremely excited. Regardless of whether the opponent can pass the 999th floor of the Chaos Tower, it is enough for the opponent to leave his name in history. All credit goes to the original author. If you're the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. Have a favorite novel you'd like to hear next? Leave a comment with your suggestions or vote for the next novel to be converted. Your feedback helps shape the future of Fabelverse. Let's make this community thrive together. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 1552. At this moment, the Chaos Tower is on the 999th floor. Gu Shixiang had already arrived at this level of the Chaos Tower. He saw that he had come to an endless open space, and there was only one enemy in front of him. Dad. Gu Shixiang blinked. He never expected that the ultimate enemy of the 999th floor of the Chaos Tower would be his father. Only by defeating his father Furukawa can he pass the Chaos Tower this time. But if you think about it carefully, this time it is also a matter of course that the Chaos Tower has gathered countless strong people throughout the ages, and the strongest among them is undoubtedly Furukawa. Therefore, Furukawa's projection also appeared in this place. That is, because countless quasi-sage capitals have challenged 909 throughout the ages. 19 floors of Chaos Tower. but none of them can succeed. Is this my father when he was young? Gu Shixiang looked at the virtual projection in front of him. He knew that this was not the real father, but the shadow left by Chaos Tower by simulating his father when he was young. But even so, this shadow also has the characteristics of an old man. When Dad was young, his combat effectiveness was 70% to 80%. Are you the challenger this time? You actually have the ability to set foot on the 999th floor of the Chaos Tower. It seems that your strength is very good. I wonder how many moves this challenger can hold on to. Virtual projection Furukawa smiled slightly and looked at Gu Shixiang. After all, it was just a virtual projection created by Chaos Tower, so naturally he didn't recognize Gu Shixiang and completely regarded Gu Shixiang as an ordinary challenger. I'm getting a little excited. It's great to come to Chaos Tower. Dad, I want to defeat you when you were young. Gu Shixiang was so excited that he felt the blood in his body boiling. Although he and his father Furukawa fought countless battles, the gap was so big that he couldn't even compare with his father. But if it was as for my father when he was young, Furukawa had not reached his peak at that time, so he still had a chance to defeat his father. Kill. In an instant, Gu Shixiang took action. He punched out, and the power in his body burst out instantly, fusing the blood of the original ancient snake and the world tree. His power was simply enhanced to a level never seen in ancient times. It was just a punch attack, and its pure power alone shattered the void in all directions, like broken glass, and dense cracks in the void appeared. This punch was like the full blow of the Chaos Demon God, shocking the earth. Ordinary quasi-sages would be completely beaten. But the virtual projection Furukawa did not move, just stretched out a palm to block Gu Shixiang.
Boom.
The fist and palm collided together, and the terrifying strength collided with each other, but Gu Shixiang's extremely terrifying fist power was as if it had entered the mud, and all the fist power dissipated instantly. It was as if Gu Shixiang's punch had no effect, and even the virtual projection Furukawa did not even take a step back. It actually completely eliminated my punching power? Gu Shixiang's eyes widened, and he couldn't believe it. He knew how terrifying the power of his punch was. Even the peak quasi-sage was beaten to death by one punch. He could even compete with those who had just entered the Holy Realm and controlled the saint with several great laws. This technique is called Do Zhuan Xing Shift. The power of your fist is indeed terrifying. If I were to punch you forcefully, I might be beaten to death, but wouldn't it be enough to just transfer your power to the void? No matter how powerful the force is, if it cannot hit the enemy, then it is a useless blow. Virtual projection Furukawa smiled slightly. Transfer my fist power to the void? Is this something a quasi-sage can do? Dad, you are indeed the real monster. Gu Shixiang's eyes showed a glimmer of excitement. He knew how terrifying his power was. In fact, the top martial arts masters all have the skills to transfer punch power, but when the power reaches a certain level, this power offloading skill is useless at all. But his father can do it. No matter how powerful he is, he can easily eliminate all the enemy's attack power as if he were lifting a heavy weight. This skill is simply breathtaking. He can't imagine his father being young.
It was so scary at that time.
But your magic is no longer of any use to me, because I have already learned it. Gu Shixiang clenched his fist. In just a moment of contact, he suddenly learned the virtual projection technique performed by Furukawa. Regardless of any martial arts or any technique, as long as he has seen it once and been hit once, then able to learn thoroughly and integrate everything. It turns out that over the long years, I have occasionally encountered monsters like you who have monster-like learning abilities and can instantly learn my spells and skills. In this case, I will use another technique to see if you can resist it. The virtual projection Furukawa pointed lightly.
Boom.
In an instant, a mirror appeared in front of Gu Shixiang, and then a person who was almost exactly the same as Gu Shixiang walked out of the mirror, as if he was a twin brother. This is a mirror technique that can simulate all the enemy's power and magical powers. Fighting with this technique is fighting yourself. Only by defeating yourself can you defeat this technique. Virtual projection Furukawa explained. There is no doubt that this is a supreme magical power that points directly to the pinnacle of the avenue. Your magic is no longer useful to me because I have learned it. Your boxing skills are no longer useful to me because I have already learned them. Your power is no longer of use to me because I already have it. In an instant, the mirror image Gu Shixiang said to the real Gu Shixiang, as if he was another Gu Shixiang, who had perfectly simulated Gu Shixiang's power and talent. Dong dong dong. In an instant, the two Gu Shixiang they collided together instantly, just like two chaos demon gods colliding, each blow erupting with unimaginable destructive power. The entire trial space roared, and the earth cracked. They turned into streaks in the void. With the light, even ordinary saints could not clearly see the speed of their attacks. Every blow was natural, like traces of a great road. Fists, feet, palms, heads, and other places collided together, erupting with an astonishing roar. Both sides seemed to have already having reached the state of martial arts. The power of every move can crush the void and can easily find the opponent's weaknesses. How could there be such a shameless technique? Gu Shixiang was extremely aggrieved and half angry. He felt as if he was fighting with himself. Not only the martial arts skills, but also the strength, speed, and even talent were all exactly the same. To be honest, he could fight as you continue to make progress. The mirror image can also make progress simultaneously because the other person is your own shadow, following you like a shadow. All credit goes to the original author. If you're the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelverse@gmail.com. Have a favorite novel you'd like to hear next? Leave a comment with your suggestions or vote for the next novel to be converted. Your feedback helps shape the future of Fabelverse. Let's make this community thrive together. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 1553. Now Gu Shixiang can also feel the enemy's frustration. Because he used a martial arts technique a little bit, the opponent learned it instantly after being hit by a move, and he also used it to counterattack himself and retaliate in his own way. As his strength and speed increase, the other party also improves simultaneously, always ensuring that he is at the same level as himself, or even a level higher than him, regardless of strength, speed, or skill. This mirror image of Gu Shixiang is no less than himself. This simply left him helpless. This was the first time he encountered such a difficult enemy. After all, the strongest enemy is indeed himself. He can defeat countless powerful enemies, but it is difficult to defeat himself. But this is interesting. It's just the mirror image of myself. Then let's compete to see who is the strongest Gu Shixiang. Whether it's 1 day, 10 days, or 10 years, I will keep fighting. Gu Shixiang's eyes showed a raging fighting spirit. He was not discouraged at all, but instead inspired the fighting spirit deep in his heart. It's just a mirror image. How can it be compared to the genuine version of himself? Boom, boom, boom. In an instant, Gu Shixiang and his mirror self fought like crazy at the same time. The strength and speed of both sides showed visible improvements, as if they were becoming stronger every second. At the same time, Gu Shixiang's fighting method also became more perfect during the battle. Through fighting with himself, he saw his flaws and weaknesses and then improved them. Unknowingly, his punches and kicks were all natural, like a great road. After thousands of tempers, he reached the point where he could return to his original nature, the realm of heaven. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, 6 days, 7 days. The battle between the two sides lasted for 7 days and 7 nights. Gu Shixiang's power was still extremely abundant, as if even after fighting for tens of thousands of years, as if the power in his body would not fail.
Boom tilde tilde.
At this moment, the mirror image of Gu Shixiang shattered instantly, like glass, shattered into countless pieces, and disappeared into this world, as if it had never appeared. What happened? Why did it suddenly disappear? I haven't had enough of it yet. Gu Shixiang looked confused. He didn't know what was happening. The fierce battle was in full swing. He enjoyed the pleasure of increasing his strength all the time. Even if he kept fighting, it would be no problem. The The blood of the original ancient snake and the blood of the world tree gave the power. It gave him infinite fighting stamina. Even if he fought for tens of thousands of years, it was nothing. But in just 7 days, the mirror image of ancient Xianxia disappeared. You are indeed a monster. You are the first person in countless thousands of years to be able to sustain 7 days and 7 nights, forcefully forcing the power of my magic to be exhausted. The virtual projection Furukawa looked at Gu Xixiang with a strange expression. He has seen countless challengers. No matter what kind of talent they have, there are also people with super learning talents like Gu Xixiang. But these guys are engaged in high-intensity battles. After that, my strength often fails in 2 or 3 days. Even if there is a high-intensity battle for 7 days and 7 nights, I will still be energetic. Is that all you have? If you don't have this magic method, I don't see how you can compete with me. Gu Xixiang clenched his fists. He felt that his fighting spirit had been completely aroused. Contend? No thanks, because you've already lost. Virtual projection Furukawa smiled slightly. What? Hearing this, Gu Xixiang was suddenly surprised. He found that a huge 6-pointed star array had appeared at his feet at some point, and then a huge wall of energy appeared in an instant. The barrier, like an ancient tortoise shell, enveloped him. What's this? Gu Xixiang stared at the energy barrier. He could feel how thick the energy barrier was. Even if he struck with all his strength, he could not easily break its defense. This is the supreme sealing technique, the karmic cage. Virtual projection Furukawa explained. In this cage of cause and effect, all living things will be sealed. It has 129,600 layers of barriers of cause and effect. If you attack this cage of cause and effect, you will be struck by the cause and effect in an instant. Force counterattack. How much force you attack will be how much force you will fight back. Even if you really break one layer of causal barriers, there are still hundreds of thousands of causal barriers, and I can repair them in an instant. Layers upon layers. This is an inescapable prison of causality. The despicable and shameless bad dad actually refused to fight me head-on and resorted to this kind of magic to seal me. Xiao Zhengtai Gu Xixiang was so angry that he was half dead. No. Have you misunderstood something about the nature of battle? Virtual projection Furukawa smiled slightly. The essence of fighting is to eliminate the enemy's threat. Injuring or killing the enemy is just a means to eliminate the enemy's threat. If the enemy cannot be killed or severely injured, sealing it is also a good method. As long as the enemy is permanently sealed, the enemy will not be able to pose any threat to me. Isn't this a way to deal with the enemy? He looked at Gu Xixiang and said, Your strength is indeed incredible. Whether it is talent, strength, or speed, you're second to none. However, the universe is very big. Although monsters like you are rare, there are some, and among them there are some ultimate evil gods who are immortal and immortal. For this kind of unkillable existence, just seal it. Although your combat power is invincible, if it is sealed and cannot exert any effect, it is equivalent to being useless. Hearing this, Gu Xixiang was speechless. It is indeed the case. If faced with an opponent who cannot be defeated or killed, sealing the opponent is indeed a good choice. It can be said that he is not invincible. If he can seal his enemies, he might be completely defeated like today. He can be regarded as being taught a lesson by his young father. In fact, you don't have to admit defeat. I will seal you here for 10,000 years, 100 million years, or even 1 billion years. I will spend the time I have with you slowly. After all, to a certain extent we are tied. Well. The virtual projection Furukawa smiled slyly. Fart. What's the tie? He couldn't even hurt his father. Gu Xixiang was so angry that he didn't expect his father to be so terrifying when he was young. Obviously, his melee combat effectiveness is not very strong, and his strength and speed have not surpassed his own. However, various spells are emerging one after another, and he can be easily manipulated by applause, making it impossible for him to fully utilize his advantages. And this is the power of wisdom. It can only be that my father is worthy of being the strongest magic master. I surrender. Gu Shixiang had no choice but to admit defeat. He couldn't really spend 100 million years here. Anyway, losing to his father was not a shame. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. Have a favorite novel you'd like to hear next? Leave a comment with your suggestions or vote for the next novel to be converted. Your feedback helps shape the future of Fabelverse. Let's make this community thrive together. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 1554.
Boom tilde tilde.
As Gu Shixiang surrendered, he was instantly teleported out of the Chaos Tower. At this moment, the entire Taichu city was in a commotion. It's over, it's finally over. I didn't expect that I could last 7 days and 7 nights on the 999th floor of the Chaos Tower. It's really incredible. What was the longest time he lasted? Was it 1 hour or 2 hours? It seemed to be a little more than 2 hours before he was eliminated. However, this was the longest challenger in countless epics. It is said that that being is now the top boss in the God realm. It's incredible. I wonder which quasi-sage can persist on the 999th floor of the Chaos Tower for such a long time. But originally I thought this challenger could pass the 999th floor of the Chaos Tower, but unexpectedly, he still failed. Stop dreaming. The existence standing on the 999th floor of the Chaos Tower is the strongest person in history. It is extremely difficult to resist the opponent's attack, let alone fail. That's right. If it weren't nearly impossible, it wouldn't be said that as long as you step onto the 1,000-story Chaos Tower, you would immediately be eligible to become a permanent resident of Taichu City. The difficulty of setting foot on the 1,000th floor of the Chaos Tower is probably countless times more difficult than the evolution of an ant into a dragon. This method is simply impossible to qualify as a permanent resident of Taichu City. Many quasi-sages were talking about it, and they were all amazed. They had never seen anyone able to persist on the 999th floor of the Chaos Tower for such a long time. This is already broken through the historical record and is the first record in the fairy world. The most powerful person, this incident has caused a huge sensation among countless great magical powers in the immortal world and has become a legend. But who has set foot on the 999th floor of the Chaos Tower? Is there any way to know the other party's identity?
Someone asked.
There is no way. The other party's level of confidentiality is too high, and it is impossible to check the other party's true identity. If the other party doesn't want to make it public, we can't know who the other party is. Another quasi-sage said. It seems that the adult is very low-key and doesn't want others to know his true identity. But if you think about it carefully, it is actually quite normal. After all, once your identity is revealed, I am afraid that the entire fairy world will rush to fawn over you. It will be annoying to death. How can you practice with peace of mind? Indeed, if it were me, I would also choose to hide my identity. After all, the so-called reputation, status, fame, etc. are nothing compared to true immortality. It seems that this gentleman is a real ascetic. If he were not a real ascetic, his true identity would not have been discovered until now. Many quasi-sages were extremely emotional. They could not find out the true identity of the person who climbed to the 999th floor of the Chaos Tower. After all, the identity of everyone who climbed to the Chaos Tower was kept secret. Unless the other party takes the initiative to leak their own information, it will be difficult for others to know how many floors of the Chaos Tower the other party has climbed. At this time, several high-level bosses in Taichu City looked at the Chaos Tower with complicated expressions. Are you kidding me? Isn't that guy just a human being? He actually climbed to the 999th floor of the Chaos Tower. Doesn't that mean that his combat power is already at the peak of the immortal world? A quasi-sage was stunned. As one of the controllers of Taichu City, he naturally knew that the person who just climbed the 999th floor of the Chaos Tower was Gu Shixiang. After all, he also has the authority to mobilize information. But people with such authority, very few. It's too exaggerated. It's too exaggerated. Just the cultivation level of human immortal can be compared to the peak of quasi-sage. If it goes further, Wouldn't it be able to surpass the 9 heavens and 10 places of the immortal world? He is indeed a monster, but he is a god who descended from the divine world, or even the eternal world. Naturally, he is not something we can compare with. It is not incomprehensible to have such a record. Shit, it's not like we haven't seen gods descending from the god realm, but they are suppressed by the laws of heaven and earth. Although their combat power is indeed stronger than ours, they are not so powerful. This is indeed the case. It can only be said that this kid is a very big shot even in the god realm or the eternal realm, so he has such exaggerated combat power. The boss said before that we need to take more care of this kid, but we are still taking care of him. It is only right to let him take care of us. We should be allowed to hold his lap. That kid seems to be a newcomer in this cosmic genius battle. When the time comes, a teacher will choose his disciples. Is there anyone who plans to become his master? Are you serious? Even if you go up, you will be punched to pieces. Where is the master who is easily beaten to pieces by his disciples? Who is the master? Does he still have the face? Ahem. In short, no one here is qualified to be his master, so don't humiliate yourself. Many controllers of Taichu City are very helpless. To be honest, this is not a child. He is simply a super boss who has descended from the god realm. Every move he makes may have a huge impact on the immortal realm. They do not want these big bosses from the god realm at all. After all, the immortal world cannot withstand the competition of these big guys. Every battle will destroy an immortal realm, countless planets, and the world will be destroyed as a result. But now it is not their turn to make such a decision. Whoosh. At this time, Gu Shixiang had already walked out of the Chaos Tower and came to Han Qing with a depressed look on his face. Brother Gu, how do you feel? Han Qing couldn't help but ask. The record was not ideal. I thought I could succeed, but I didn't expect it to fail. Gu Shixiang was very helpless, just like a student who failed the exam. Not ideal. Hearing this, the corner of Han Qing's mouth twitched, and he was a little crazy. You have climbed to the 999th floor of the Chaos Tower, and you still have the nerve to say that your performance is not ideal, so you are shameless. Even he can only climb more than 100 floors of the Chaos Tower, and the gap is not too big. It's like a top student or a bad student saying that his test scores are not very good, but he can only get 9 points out of 100 points. 18 points, still not as good as expected, one wrong choice question. To be honest, he almost wanted to hit someone, he was so damn pretentious. Not ideal. Just try harder next time. Han Qing held it in for a long time and could only say this sentence, but he felt extremely ashamed. He was a scumbag and had such a low score in the exam, but he still comforted the top student. This was a bit cheap. Thank you for your comfort. It is true. Although I failed this time, I will definitely succeed next time and break through the Chaos Tower sooner or later. Gu Shixiang clenched his fists and cheered up again. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. Have a favorite novel you'd like to hear next? Leave a comment with your suggestions or vote for the next novel to be converted. Your feedback helps shape the future of Fabelverse. Let's make this community thrive together. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 1555. Break through the Chaos Tower. Hearing this, Han Qing couldn't help but twitch the corner of his mouth. He knew how terrifying the Chaos Tower was. It was said that it was at least over 100 million levels. Now, they have not even reached the 200-level Chaos Tower, and they want to reach more than 100 million levels. The Chaos Tower is simply a fantasy and impossible. But if you think about it carefully, this is a super monster in front of you, so it is not impossible. In short, humans cannot be compared with monsters. Whoosh whoosh. Not long after, many young geniuses gathered together. Okay. Now that you have finished participating in the Chaos Tower and you know your true level, I don't need to say more about the rest. Just practice hard in Taichu City. I hope you will still be alive when we meet again, next time. Redbeard Immortal Lord said. Still alive. As soon as these words came out, many geniuses were stunned. They didn't understand what red-bearded Immortal Lord meant. Could it be that they would encounter any dangers while staying in Taichu City? It seems you still don't know clearly. Redbeard Immortal Lord smiled slightly. In fact, the initial universe is not a very safe place. This place gave birth to many powerful wild beasts, each of which is extremely powerful and scattered throughout the initial universe. Except for Taichu City, the rest of this continent is a wilderness, and there are many powerful wild beasts living in the wilderness. If you plan to go out of the city to hunt wild beasts, you may encounter unexpected dangers. Desolate beasts. Many young prodigies had stern expressions. They immediately knew how dangerous it was in the wilds of Taichu City. Every desolate beast was a famous and powerful creature in the fairy world. Legend has it that some desolate beasts use stars and the world as their food. When they appear, they will definitely cause terrible disasters, and no one knows how many immortals will be killed or injured. Although the fairy world is very safe, some powerful wild beasts will occasionally appear, roaming the stars and occasionally appearing in the fairyland, causing unimaginable disasters. They did not expect that there would be wild beasts in Taichu City, and they were in groups. Lord Akasu, since the wilderness is dangerous, wouldn't it be better not to go out to the wilderness and stay in the city to practice? A young prodigy couldn't help but ask. Of course, if you are afraid of death, there is no problem in hiding in the city to practice. Redbeard Immortal Lord explained. The problem is that although the wild is dangerous and there are many wild beasts living in it, it also breeds many innate spiritual objects and even innate treasures. You should also know that this is the original universe, which is equivalent to the beginning of chaos and the beginning of the world. The world of this era has given birth to countless innate spiritual objects and treasures. It can be said that certain treasures can only be produced in this era, so if you want to obtain these treasures, you can only get them by going to the wild. I see. Many young geniuses understood it all at once, and their hearts suddenly started beating. Even Han Qing was like this. This was the beginning of chaos, and no one knew how many innate spiritual beings had been bred. These innate spiritual beings were in the outside world. Extinct existences cannot be bought with money. But in the Taichu continent, they have given birth to unknown numbers. If they leave the original universe, they may never have such a good opportunity again. Now, they also know why there are so many people would leave Taichu City even if they knew there was danger in the wild, because there were so many innate spiritual objects bred in the wild. If you pick them up casually, you might get an innate spiritual treasure. Such benefits really made their hearts beat. If given the opportunity, they would not mind venturing into the wild. Although they are internal members of the Universe Virtual Company, the resources each person obtains are also limited. If they want to obtain more resources, they need to take risks and fight hard. The most important thing is that they can only stay in the initial universe for free for 10,000 years. If they exceed this time, they will leave the initial universe. If you want to enter the initial universe next time, you don't know when it will be. Missed it. I'm afraid there is no such store in this village. Over the past generations, many young prodigies may have had the same idea. They knew that there were wild beasts in the wild, but they were lucky enough to go out to find treasures in the wild. Or they directly hunted the wild beasts. After all, the wild beasts are also full of treasures. Killing one is equivalent to an adventure. To be honest, there are treasures everywhere in the wild. Some lucky people found Xianxia loam, innate snow lotus, innate spiritual roots, and even innate spiritual treasures in the wild, and thus became rich overnight. Redbeard Immortal Lord said, but most of the people died in the wild, at the hands of wild beasts. 1 or 2% of the geniuses died every year. I hope you won't be careless. As soon as these words came out, Han Qing and others were suffocated. Will 1 or 2% of the young geniuses die in each session? This death rate is a bit too exaggerated. You must know that they are killed out of billions of geniuses. Each of the peerless geniuses is a treasure, equivalent to existences like saints and saints. But even so, so many people died in the initial universe, and they were just practicing. Of course, this cannot be blamed on the Universe Virtual Company. After all, They have been informed of the dangers in the wild, but many young geniuses still choose to go into the wild and die at the hands of wild beasts. This is also the choice of these young geniuses themselves. But there is nothing that can be done about it. After all, in the initial universe practice, everyone opportunities and every bit of resources need to be fought for and obtained by oneself. Benefits cannot fall from the sky. If you don't take risks and others choose to take risks, I am afraid that others will make rapid progress and far surpass their peers. The competition among geniuses forces them to work hard and take risks. Okay, that's all. Let's meet again, if we are destined. With a whoosh, after the red-bearded immortal master said these words, he flashed and quickly disappeared from this place. This time, his task of receiving these geniuses was completely over. Wild beast? It seems that Taichu City is not a safe place either. Doesn't it mean that as long as you don't go out into the wild, you don't have to die? It's ridiculous. Cultivation means competing with God for your destiny, fighting for it everywhere. If you die, don't join the universe, virtual company. You're right. You know that there is a huge opportunity in the original universe, but you don't fight for it. Isn't it stupid or something? Taking risks definitely requires taking risks, but we also need to increase our strength before we can go on adventures in the wild, so that we can be considered foolproof. In short, we should practice hard in Taichu City, and it will not be too late to make a decision after we are sure. Many young geniuses were talking about it. Soon, Han Qing and other geniuses finally began to practice life in Taichu City. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. Have a favorite novel you'd like to hear next? Leave a comment with your suggestions or vote for the next novel to be converted. Your feedback helps shape the future of Fabelverse. Let's make this community thrive together. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 1556. While Han Qing and other geniuses were cultivating peacefully in the original universe, earth-shaking changes began to take place in the fairy world. Whoosh whoosh. In an instant, powerful immortals suddenly arrived at a place. They looked at the giant immortal realm in front of them with solemn faces, and they were all extremely cautious. Is this the great fighter immortal realm? What is going on? Why was it suddenly shrouded in fog? A green-armored immortal emperor stared at the place in front of him. Originally, this was a fairyland, covering an extremely vast area. I don't know how many light years away it was. It originally lived in countless worlds and stars. But this in an instant, the entire fairyland completely disappeared and was wrapped in a mysterious mist. It was impossible to see what was in the mist. Many immortals felt shuddering. I don't know, but a few months ago, a strange little world suddenly ascended from the human world. An immortal said in a deep voice, "At first, there was nothing special about this small world, but suddenly bursts of gray mist emitted from it, and then it instantly enveloped millions of light years." Many immortals were very curious and came forward to investigate, but they found that the mist did not do any harm to the human body. It was just pure mist. However, these mysterious fogs did not stop expanding. Instead, they increased at a geometric rate. In just a few months, they had enveloped the entire Great Doe immortal realm. At this point, he paused and said, "To be honest, we have sent many immortals into this misty world to investigate, but so far, no immortal has been able to come out, and we don't know the immortals inside, dead or alive." At the same time, after entering this foggy area, even the signal of the universe virtual network was interrupted, and it was impossible to contact the outside world through the universe virtual network inside. Is there such a thing? The Xianxia immortal emperor's eyes showed a cold light. Haven't you ever tried to attack this misty world? Of course we have tried. We have used Star Destroyer cannons, bombarded with fairy weapons, and used large formations. However, after all the attacks fell into this fog, they were all ineffective, as if all our attack power was completely wiped out. All our efforts are in vain. The immortal was very helpless. To be honest, since they knew that sending people in had no effect at all, they tried to use external attacks to see if they could defeat this foggy world. But it had no effect, and any attack had no effect on this fog. It is like bullets shooting into the sea, unable to cause any waves. It is because of this that this foggy world has become the most beautiful place in Heaven. One of the places to watch. After all, no one knows what harm this will cause. If this fog continues to expand, the nearby fairyland may also be swallowed up together. It's all useless. She is an existence beyond imagination. She can distort the common sense of the world. She can turn false into true and true into false. In front of that existence, with the power of you and me, we are just ants. In fact, the people who died in the nightmare world are not actually dead. Their souls have been swallowed up by the nightmare space and become one of the members of the nightmare space. It's just that they have completely lost their memories, and they can only reincarnate in the nightmare space forever and ever in this life, becoming the tool people in it. So even if you commit suicide, the death talisman will not have any effect, because you are not dead at all, but your soul is sealed in the nightmare space. He said that the death talisman was of no use in the nightmare world, because the other party did not kill him at all, but just imprison them in this world forever. Damn it, I knew Heavenly Court had no good intentions in asking me to perform this task, but I didn't expect that even the death talisman would have no effect, and now I was deceived. The Xianxia Immortal Emperor cursed loudly and was half angry. He originally thought that if he had a death talisman, he would be foolproof this time, but the weirdness of this nightmare world was beyond his imagination, and even the death talisman had no effect. But it was true. The same is true. If it were really that simple, Heaven would not have failed so many times. To be honest, a dozen immortal emperors have entered this nightmare world before and tried to commit suicide, but to no avail. They were all imprisoned and have now lost their memory and have become puppets of the nightmare world. Immortal Emperor Ibaraki said helplessly. In other words, you cannot die in the nightmare world. Once you die, you will instantly become a puppet of the nightmare world and cannot escape from here for the rest of your life. The Xianxia Immortal Emperor said in a deep voice, "If this is the case, what about our ascension? If we directly ascend to the God realm, can we leave this place directly?" He thought of a way, that is to directly ascend to the God realm. After all, ascending to the God realm is the original law of the fairy world. Even the gods cannot resist this power. Although the nightmare world is very terrifying, it is impossible to resist the original law of the fairy world. If you can ascend to the divine world, then the nightmare world will naturally be impossible to resist. But haven't you noticed? Your cultivation level has long been sealed, which means that your highest cultivation level is only quasi-saint perfection. Without the permission of the master of the nightmare world, it is impossible for you to improve your cultivation and ascend to the divine world. Ibaraki Immortal Emperor spread his hands. He said that their cultivation base has long been sealed by the nightmare space. Even if they want to ascend to the God realm, it is impossible. Even a little cultivation base cannot be improved here. Are you kidding? How could such a terrifying existence appear in the fairy world? Is it a foul play? Is it a cosmic monster that descended from the divine world? The Xianxia Immortal Emperor couldn't help but swallowed. He also knew how much trouble he was in. He couldn't even ascend, and he couldn't even think about dying. In the world of dreams, the other party was simply omnipotent existence. I don't know. So far, I haven't found out who the big boss behind the nightmare world is. The only thing I know now is that if you want to leave the nightmare world, there is only one way, and that is to clear the nightmare world and get enough points. Immortal Emperor Ibaraki said in a deep voice. Clear the nightmare world? Integral? What exactly does that mean? Xianxia Immortal Emperor asked. It literally means that you should have passed a mission in the nightmare world, and you should have obtained a lot of points. These points are very useful and can be used to purchase various skills, spells, and magical powers. You can say points. Almost omnipotent, and can buy anything. Immortal Emperor Ibaraki said. In other words, if you have 100 million points, you can escape from the nightmare world and escape from the mist world. 100 million points. Hearing this, the Xianxia Immortal Emperor was speechless. He didn't know what to say. He had worked so hard to pass the world of Snow White before, and only gained 2 or 3,000 points. Now at least he couldn't leave without 100 million points, and he wouldn't be able to do it until the year of the monkey. Thinking about this number, he felt extremely desperate. All credit goes to the original author. If you're the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. Have a favorite novel you'd like to hear next? Leave a comment with your suggestions or vote for the next novel to be converted. Your feedback helps shape the future of Fabelverse. Let's make this community thrive together. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 1560. Is it really impossible to leave the nightmare space without 100 million points? The Xianxia Immortal Emperor asked unwillingly. He felt that it was too difficult to obtain 100 million points. It was simply harder than a mortal reaching the sky. If you want to obtain so many points, you don't know how much time it would take. There is no way, at least I don't have any way. I wonder if you have heard of the reincarnation space. Immortal Emperor Ibaraki asked. Reincarnation space? Could it be a super war artifact that appeared in ancient times? Hearing this, the Xianxia Immortal Emperor was stunned. It is said that when the Six Paths universe did not rule the entire cosmic sea, it was with the help of the war artifact of the samsara space that the living beings in the Six Paths universe were transformed into immortal creatures. The wars in the south and the north swept through many universes, so the current unified universe was formed. However, since the cosmic sea was unified, this war artifact has become useless, so it was sealed in a secret place and never seen again. To be honest, this matter is a secret. However, he was born in the Great Axe Arena and is a core member of the 3 transcendent forces. He is naturally qualified to know similar information. However, because this matter is too long ago, it has become a legends can only be heard in legends, but no one has seen them in reality. Even most people have never heard of the former war artifact of the reincarnation space. This is the horror of time. Time can drown everything. History and truth, no matter how glorious the existence is, as time goes by and millions of epochs pass by, the world will slowly forget this great existence. Even if it was once prominent and famous in the reincarnation space of the entire Six Paths universe, if you remain hidden from the world, you will slowly be forgotten by the world and eventually become a legend. Yes, in fact, this nightmare space is somewhat similar to the legendary reincarnation space. Immortal Emperor Ibaraki said in a deep voice, "It is said that the reincarnation space originally summoned the 6 realms of sentient beings as reincarnations to conquer the north and south, invade other universes, and devour the origin of other universes. Moreover, in order to increase the motivation of the reincarnators, points will be given to them to make them continuously stronger." It can be said that this model is exactly the same as the legendary reincarnation space. However, the dreamers in this nightmare space go to various fantasy worlds, while the reincarnation space invades the real world. This is also the difference between the two. But other than this, there is actually no difference between the two. I kind of doubt that the two are simply the same thing. He was extremely emotional and expressed his guess. Are you saying that the nightmare space is probably the reincarnation space in the legend? As soon as he said these words, the hair on the Xianxia Immortal Emperor's hair stood up, and he felt shuddering, and his whole body was shaking. If he is really in the legendary reincarnation space, then it is impossible for him to escape. In fact, let alone a mere immortal emperor, even a saint, or even a being more powerful than a saint, cannot escape from the reincarnation space. As one of the most powerful magic weapons in the Six Paths universe, the reincarnation space is not something that ordinary people can withstand. After all, the reincarnation space was originally the 6 realms. The power of the cosmic war artifact has made countless universes afraid of it. Suddenly, he felt waves of despair and didn't know what to say. To be honest, I'm not sure, but one thing is certain. The two must have an unusual relationship, otherwise they would never be so similar. Ibaraki Immortal Emperor Dao. This news must be passed on, otherwise it will be terrible if the nightmare world erodes the entire fairy world. The Xianxia Immortal Emperor is simply anxious. Because once the nightmare world spreads rapidly and erodes the entire fairy world, I am afraid that all creatures in the fairy world will be dragged into this mysterious existence. What will happen then? Not clear at all. Don't be too nervous. Where do you think the fairy world is? Although this nightmare world is indeed terrifying, the fairy world is a land of hidden dragons and crouching tigers. The underlying content is beyond what you and I can imagine. It is not as simple as you think to erode the entire fairy world. Ibaraki Immortal Emperor shouted loudly, reminding Xianxia Immortal Emperor. This. As soon as these words came out, the Xianxia Immortal Emperor suddenly calmed down. He couldn't help but froze. Thinking about it carefully, it was indeed the case. The foundation of the immortal world was too profound. Even if he, a core member of the Giant Axe Arena, I don't know how much power exists in the fairy world. Let's not talk about how terrifying the headquarters of the three transcendent forces are. The background of many peak races is beyond the imagination of ordinary immortals. Unlike the human world, the fairy world is almost it has achieved great unification and developed peacefully for countless epochs, and the accumulated foundation is extremely terrifying. It is said that the technology of the mechanical race has reached its peak, which is extremely terrifying. It is completely conceivable that even if this nightmare world is really that it's scary, but if it is noticed by many great supernatural beings in the fairy world, it will definitely not cause too much trouble. Indeed, I was too anxious. The foundation of the fairy world is indeed extremely terrifying. If the sky falls, the tall man will bear it first. The Xianxia Immortal Emperor immediately relaxed. Now, he is just a small character trapped in the nightmare world. The life and death crisis of saving the immortal world cannot fall on him. There are still countless great supernatural beings in the immortal world. That's right, don't worry. Although this nightmare space is indeed unfathomable. At present, we can find any way to leave, but we can continue to explore this nightmare world, and then find opportunities to escape from the nightmare world. Immortal Emperor Ibaraki said, although 100 million points is indeed a lot, we can continue to accumulate it. Whether it takes 100,000 years or 1,000,000 years, we will eventually be able to get out of trouble one day. Yes. The Xianxia Immortal Emperor clenched his fists. His heart, which had been anxious because he was trapped in the nightmare space, calmed down at this moment. He finally began to have the confidence to escape from the nightmare space. Immortal Emperor Ibaraki, please introduce to me the specific situation of this nightmare space first. You have been here for such a long time, and you must have a deep understanding of this place. Xianxia Immortal Emperor Dao. No problem. It is said that the nightmare space first appeared on an ordinary planet in the human world, and then slowly developed from this planet and expanded to the entire world. Then the power of the nightmare space exceeded the limits of the human world, and then it had ascended to the immortal realm, and finally even the entire immortal realm was annexed by it. Now its power is still growing. Immortal Emperor Ibaraki shared his understanding of the history of the nightmare space. This was important information that he spent a lot of time and effort to slowly collect. All credit goes to the original author. If you're the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. Have a favorite novel you'd like to hear next? Leave a comment with your suggestions or vote for the next novel to be converted. Your feedback helps shape the future of Fabelverse. Let's make this community thrive together. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 1561. At this time, in the deepest part of the nightmare space, powerful fantasy creatures appeared in a palace, and a little lowly Gu Meng Meng was lying on a big bed and fell asleep, seeming to have entered a sweet dream. I don't know what kind of sweet dream I am having. These dream creatures are powerful creatures born from the dreams of Gu Meng Meng. They possess powerful divinity and continue to grow as the power of Gu Meng Meng grows. It seems that the master is having a sweet dream, which is really good. A phoenix, a dream creature, said, its body burning with the power of hot flames. In fact, it is not an ordinary phoenix, but a divine bird born from dreams. It is born with the power to control all the laws of fire. It has the power to control all laws of fire. The dreamy fire can burn reality and illusion. It is comparable to the legendary Red Lotus fire, Emperor's fire, and other heaven and earth fires. It is extremely terrifying. It seems that the appearance of this nightmare world has indeed made the owner sleep well, and these dreamers also have a lot of fun with the owner. Another dream creature said, "It is a dragon, the dragon of dreams, the dragon that controls all the power of dreams. It can easily enter anyone's dream between reality and illusion. And it is also immortal. Existence, as long as the dream still exists, it can be resurrected from anyone's dream, and its power is almost unlimited. However, there are also some intruders who have entered the nightmare space, as if they want to cause damage to the nightmare space and the owner's dream. We have to guard against this." A dream creature said solemnly, "It is an angel, with 12 pairs of white wings appearing on its back. It is a dream angel, born in the most beautiful dream, and it is a symbol of innocence, purity, and kindness. It is precisely because it is extremely pure, so it cannot tolerate any darkness or dirt. Its power can dispel all darkness and impurity and bring light to all living beings. It holds an angel scepter, symbolizing the authority and power of absolute justice. They are just intruders. Let me take action and kill these intruders. There is no need to talk nonsense with them." The one who spoke was a dark spider. Endless power of darkness surged out of it, and a dense black web was woven around its body. It was a nightmare spider, a terrifying dream creature born from nightmares. You must know that dreams are not only their only sweet dreams, but also nightmares, and the power of nightmares is sometimes many times scarier and darker than sweet dreams. The power of this nightmare spider is also extremely terrifying. It is naturally proficient in the power of nightmares and can pull all living beings with ease. When you enter the nightmare, you will have no choice but to let it slaughter you. The more lives that enter the nightmare network, the more they struggle, the deeper they will be trapped and unable to extricate themselves. Jie, you are right. Let me take action. I can silently deal with these intruders and at the same time give them the cruelest way to die. The person speaking is a clown wearing a mask. It is also an ever-changing clown born from Gu Mingming's nightmare. It is ever-changing and can change into various appearances, easily distorting dreams and reality. It is said that it is the most terrifying nightmare deep in the heart of life. Whatever the other person is afraid of, it will become the appearance and thing that the other person is most afraid of. Once you encounter the ever-changing clown, it is like encountering the biggest nightmare in your life. The birth of endless fear. Moreover, it is also an immortal dream monster. It is a ray of darkness deep in the heart that cannot be erased. That's enough. Don't act rashly. Intruders are just a small matter. Interrupting the master's sweet dream is a big deal. You acted rashly and disturbed the master's sweet dream. This is a felony that cannot be forgiven even if you die 100 times. The speaker was a black cat, sitting lazily on a chair. It was obviously just a kitten, but it exuded an unfathomable imperial aura, and every move contained an undoubted imperial aura. The power of the emperor. It seemed that it said anything it will, and no one was allowed to violate it. When other fantasy creatures heard these words, they immediately calmed down and did not question the black cat's words. And this black cat is the Emperor Cat, a dream creature that rules many nightmare worlds. It has the power to do whatever it says. As long as it speaks, it will definitely come true. It can also easily invade various dream worlds. Although there is no distinction between these fantasy creatures, and they all have equal status, they are extremely obedient to the Emperor Cat. After all, whether it is the opponent's strength or the favor of the owner, this black cat, they are far superior to other fantasy creatures. But the group of immortals from heaven are still invading our nightmare world. Although they can't cause any harm now, it is still troublesome to always send some people to disturb them. Nightmare Spider said solemnly, "It doesn't matter. They will die anyway, if they dare to enter the nightmare world. It is a good thing to let them in. Maybe the master will be happier. After all, it is too boring to just have some mortals playing with the master. It is better to add more masters. More fun. The Emperor Cat said lazily. To be honest, those immortals in heaven are not a threat. In fact, our most important task is not this, but to find the Book of Magical Powers. Only by finding enough books of magical powers, the masters only, then will the seal be lifted quickly. This is the most important thing. Don't worry, we have recovered 100 books of magical powers so far. Although these books of magical powers are hiding here and there, thinking that their whereabouts are very secret. In fact, when it comes to tracking, who can compare with us dream creatures? Wherever there are creatures, there will be the footprints of our dream creatures. Dream Angel said, in fact, we have found specific traces of 200 to 300 books of magical powers, but we haven't taken action yet because we are afraid of alerting the snakes and letting them run away. After our layout is completed, these magical books will be unable to fly and will soon be brought to the owner. The owner will definitely be extremely happy when he wakes up. When she thought of her master Gu Mengming praising her after waking up, she became extremely excited. Very good, if that's the case, then what are you waiting for? As long as you capture all these magical books, the mere immortals in the immortal world are nothing at all. They are just ants. The Emperor Cat suddenly stood up, and a pair of eyes emitted a terrifying light, seeming to penetrate the endless void. Yes. Many dream creatures didn't talk nonsense at all, and immediately started to take action to capture the escaping magical books. After all, that's why they were created. All credit goes to the original author. If you're the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. Have a favorite novel you'd like to hear next? Leave a comment with your suggestions or vote for the next novel to be converted. Your feedback helps shape the future of Fabelverse. Let's make this community thrive together. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 1562. Fairyland, Green Bull Fairyland. Whoosh whoosh. In an instant, powerful immortals appeared in this place. They were all powerful immortals from heaven. 2 of them were the famous immortal emperors. One was the Dongyang Immortal Emperor, and the other was the Qingyun Immortal Emperor. Is this the Green Bull Fairyland where an abnormality occurred? Qingyun Immortal Emperor asked. Yes, Lord Qingyun. A few months ago in the Green Bull Fairyland, a strange Great Thousand World ascended from the human world. Originally, the ascended Great Thousand World was nothing, but this Great Thousand World was extremely weird, spreading endless black mist, and in just a short time within a few months, more than half of the area was eroded, and now half of the Green Bull Fairyland is shrouded in black mist. An immortal said, why does it sound a bit similar to what happened in the Great Fighter Fairyland? It seems that the Master Immortal Realm is also shrouded in gray mist, and several immortal emperors have even entered it, but so far they have not been able to come out, and even no news can be conveyed. Dongyang Immortal Emperor frowned, feeling that this matter was a bit unusual. It is indeed very similar to what happened in the Master Immortal Realm. It is said that Immortal Emperor Ibaraki and Immortal Emperor Xianxia were both trapped inside. Although they are not dead yet, they cannot escape from it. Qingyun Immortal Emperor couldn't help but nodded. It is indeed very similar to what happened in the Master Fairyland, so we reported this matter to Heaven, hoping that Heaven would send someone to deal with it, but so far this matter has not been resolved. The Immortal said helplessly. Didn't some people go inside and explore before? Do you know what's going on inside? Will it be possible that once you enter it, you will never be able to leave? Qingyun Immortal Emperor couldn't help but ask. If what happened in the Green Bull Immortal Realm was the same as what happened in the Grandmaster Immortal Realm, then even if he was beaten to death, he would not go inside. After all, his life is very precious. He might have died in a place like this for no reason. So if there is any danger, he will run away immediately. In fact, some immortals have already gone in and explored it, but unlike the Great Master's Fairyland, the Green Bull Fairyland, a place shrouded in black mist, did not prevent others from leaving, but instead allowed us to enter and exit at will. But even so, we didn't dare to go in and out at will, because it was too dangerous inside. The Immortal seemed to have thought of something, and his body couldn't help but start to tremble. What's inside? Immortal Emperor Qingyun and Immortal Emperor Dongyang asked immediately. Evil God. That place has become the paradise of Evil God. The Immortal said decisively. Evil God. As soon as these words came out, the faces of Qingyun Immortal Emperor and Dongyang Immortal Emperor suddenly became solemn. To be honest, the immortal world is not always smooth sailing and extremely peaceful. In fact, there are many enemies in heaven, such as demons and monsters from the abyss. Evil gods, powerful monsters from other universes in the cosmic sea, and their dependents, etc. In short, these enemies are extremely powerful. Once they appear, they will definitely bring huge catastrophe and turmoil to the fairy world. That's right, it's the evil god. The original vast world of our fairy world, as well as the planets, were eroded by the power of the evil god and turned into the evil god's world and paradise. The Immortal couldn't help but clenched his fists. To be honest, those evil gods did not prohibit any network signals at all, but encouraged us to take this news out. However, this news was blocked by us, and they also actively cut off all network signals. Well done. Qingyun Immortal Emperor and Dongyang Immortal Emperor both nodded. They know the terror of those evil gods. These evil gods feed on the fear of all living beings. The more fearful the living beings are, the stronger the evil gods are. It can be said that those evil gods are the purpose of deliberately leaking this news is to cause panic among all living beings in the Green Bull Fairyland. At that time, the power of the evil god will quickly spread to the entire Green Bull Fairyland and even other fairyland. If the other party's power spreads through the virtual network of the universe, if so, then I am afraid that the power of the evil god will spread throughout the fairyland, and then the entire fairyland will be eroded by the power of the evil god. Therefore, they actively block everything that happens in the Green Bull Fairyland. This is the way to protect the fairyland. But one thing that is very strange is that these evil gods have no intention of killing the lives in the Green Bull Fairyland. The creatures in the Green Bull Fairyland are still alive and well. The Immortal thought this was strange. Is there such a thing? Don't these evil gods have any other purpose? Qingyun Immortal Emperor frowned. He knew the terror of those evil gods, powerful gods who specialized in killing all living beings. If the original laws of the immortal world were not extremely powerful, they could repel these powerful evil gods. I am afraid that the entire immortal world would not know it. What will it become? But such a violent and cruel evil god doesn't kill any living beings. It's extremely weird no matter how you look at it. I don't know, but I have to find out the purpose of these evil gods. It is conceivable that these evil gods have grand plans, and they are not just as simple as swallowing up a fairyland. The Dongyang Immortal Emperor said in a deep voice. He felt that those evil gods were so forbearing towards their own nature. It was conceivable how terrifying the purpose of these evil gods was. The purpose of the other party must be beyond imagination, so they acted so strangely. In this case, you really need to check it out. Fortunately, this evil paradise is not as scary as the misty world, and you won't get lost in it casually. If you're careful, you should be able to escape unscathed. Qingyun Immortal Emperor said happily. It's better to be careful. Although we have death talismans on us, the pollution power of the evil god is extremely terrifying. It may pollute our souls. By then, we may have no hope of ascending to the divine world. The immortal Emperor Dongyang thinks it's better to be more vigilant. After all, their opponent is the evil god in the legend. He comes from the darkest place in the hearts of all living beings. Legend has it that he is a god born from the dark power of infinite living beings and brings benefits to all living beings. The monster of doomsday and disaster. It can be said that no matter how careful and cautious, it is not an exaggeration. Okay, let's go. Qingyun Immortal Emperor nodded. Whoosh! In an instant, the figures of Qingyun Immortal Emperor, Dongyang Immortal Emperor, and others flashed. They concealed their bodies and auras, and arrived in this foggy place in an instant. The world. They felt shuddering, because deep inside the misty world, the figures of terrifying evil gods seemed to emerge one after another, covering the sky and the sun, twisting the chaotic void. Just looking at it seemed that their souls would be contaminated. Hearing the other party's voice, he will go completely crazy. This is the ultimate monster that is invisible, and undetectable, an indescribable existence for all creatures in the world. All credit goes to the original author. If you're the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. Have a favorite novel you'd like to hear next? Leave a comment with your suggestions or vote for the next novel to be converted. Your feedback helps shape the future of Fabelverse. Let's make this community thrive together. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 1563.
This.
Not long after, Qingyun Immortal Emperor and Dongyang Immortal Emperor entered the area eroded by the power of the evil god. Their faces were extremely solemn and extremely ugly. Sure enough, this area has been severely eroded by the power of the evil god. The deeper you go into the area, the more terrifying the power of erosion becomes. Ordinary immortals cannot enter at all, otherwise they will be eroded and will die. Qingyun Immortal Emperor was very shocked in his heart. He had naturally heard of the existence of evil gods, but rarely encountered them. After all, evil gods basically existed in the abyss and were always monitored by the gods in the divine world. They rarely encountered them. Come to the fairy world. But now, many evil gods have escaped from the supervision of the gods and come to the fairy world, and the number of evil gods does not seem to be as simple as 1 or 2. Why are the evil gods so terrifying? If we use science to explain, each one evil gods are a source of nuclear radiation. The nuclear radiation on their bodies is extremely terrifying, which will distort and mutate the bodies of living beings, and even distort the genes of living beings, causing the genes of these creatures to collapse and break. Of course, if you can withstand the radiation of evil gods if you have strength, you will gain great power. But if you cannot withstand the power of the evil god, you will be twisted into a monster without any reason. The evil god does not need to do anything at all. Its appearance itself is like a nuclear leak, polluting boundless the earth. Even if the evil god is really expelled from this world, the evil god's power can still survive for billions of epochs. It will take an extremely long time to gradually eliminate the evil god's radiation power. But even if it can really withstand the evil god's nuclear radiation, the power of the evil god, but the bodies of living beings will also produce various changes and mutations. Therefore, contact with the evil god is simply a fatal crisis for ordinary life. To a certain extent, Immortal Emperor Qingyun and Immortal Emperor Dongyang are walking in a land with nuclear leakage and are exposed to the range of nuclear radiation all the time. If they don't control the protective shield on their bodies at all times, I'm afraid even the Immortal Emperor will be affected by this. Corroded by the power of the evil god's radiation, it even changed the genes and blood in the body. It was precisely because they knew the horror of this place that they made all the immortals go back shortly after entering this place, leaving only the 2 of them. The Immortal Emperor entered. After all, they came here just to inquire about information, not to eliminate the evil gods in this area. They did not have the strength to do such a thing. How can there be life in a place where the power of the evil god has eroded so severely? This kind of thing should be impossible. The Dongyang Immortal Emperor is very doubtful about the previous intelligence. Full of doubts, Qingyun Immortal Emperor and Dongyang Immortal Emperor followed many evil gods. The deeper they went, the more they saw more and more evil gods, at least hundreds of thousands of them, densely distributed in the void. Just seeing these evil gods made them shudder. Fortunately, these evil gods controlled the energy in their bodies, otherwise they would emit it at will. If so, the radiation power of the evil gods alone would be enough to twist them into indescribable monsters. Not long after, Qingyun Immortal Emperor and Dongyang Immortal Emperor found themselves in a huge palace standing in the void. It seems to be the only light in this dark world. This huge palace is magnificent, made of unknown mysterious materials, and is surrounded by powerful evil gods guarding it. It is extremely strict. Many evil gods have transformed into humans. They followed the order and walked in from the city gate one by one. What made Qingyun Immortal Emperor and Dongyang Immortal Emperor even more speechless was that each of these evil gods seemed to have become otakus, wearing red towels on their foreheads, wearing a piece of clothing with a special pattern printed on it. Almost every evil god has a glow stick in his hand. Some evil gods even hold a huge banner with the words of the Chaos Demon God written on it. I love you, Queen.
You.
No matter how you look at it, this looks like a very lively concert. And every evil god is a loyal fan. Haha, after waiting for such a long time, the Queen finally held another concert. Is not that right? This concert is a free concert organized by Her Majesty the Queen because of her pity on us. If it were charged, we might not be able to buy tickets at all. That's right, those damn scalpers bought up all the concert tickets as soon as they came out, leaving us fans in our turn. If you want concert tickets, you can only buy them from scalpers at high prices. The hateful scalpers made the entire concert a mess and took the opportunity to make money. Forget it, there's no way to stop these scalpers, and they have nothing to do with Her Majesty the Queen. Yes, the Queen is the most sacred and beautiful existence, and her singing voice is still unforgettable to me. If it weren't for the Queen's singing, I'm afraid I would have died long ago. If I can hear Her Majesty singing, I will even die for Her Majesty. I wonder what song the Queen will sing this time? I don't know, but my favorite is the Scarecrow song. Are you kidding? Zombie songs are the best. Fart, the underworld song, is the most touching. The song is spacious and charming, silent, containing the peace of the dead, and the beautiful dolphin sound really shows the Queen's superb singing skills. Many evil gods were talking about it. All credit goes to the original author. If you're the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. Have a favorite novel you'd like to hear next? Leave a comment with your suggestions or vote for the next novel to be converted. Your feedback helps shape the future of Fabelverse. Let's make this community thrive together. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 1568.
Wow.
Before Immortal Emperor Qingyun and Immortal Emperor Dongyang could think about it, they followed many evil gods and immediately entered the palace, and then came to a place that looked like a gymnasium. Many spectators were sitting in the auditorium, and in front of it was a huge stage surrounded by various lighting equipment, making everything look very lively. But these audience members are evil gods. Each one of them has transformed into a human form, holding a light stick in their hands, and they are in high spirits. They are really like the most ordinary fans who come here to listen to the concert. Such bizarre phenomena made both Qingyun Immortal Emperor and Dongyang Immortal Emperor feel extremely weird, as if the place they were in was not the headquarters of the evil god, but a celebrity concert. What happened? Is it really a concert? This is the headquarters of the evil god. I don't think it's possible, but looking at the looks of these evil gods, it seems like they really came to listen to the singing. Could it be that these evil gods are like ordinary humans, with their own joys, sorrows and joys, and their own entertainment and cultural activities? To be honest, we still know too little about the evil gods. Even if something similar to civilization is born, it is not a very strange thing. This is indeed the case, but we should wait and see what happens. Don't let down your guard. This is the base camp of the evil god, and no one knows what will happen. The Immortal Emperor Qingyun and the Immortal Emperor Dongyang secretly communicated with their spiritual consciousness. This is a special secret technique of sound transmission. Even the evil gods cannot spy on the content of their spiritual consciousness transmission. Therefore, they're talking in secret like this. No need to worry about being known by others. Come out. The Queen seems to be out. I can finally meet the Queen, the king of our evil god clan. No, I'm about to die. When I think of seeing the Queen, I almost faint. Many evil gods were talking about it, and all of them were extremely excited. They were like the most ardent fans. This kind of fanaticism was similar to belief, like a fanatical believer.
Boom.
At this moment, the huge stage immediately appeared, and when the smoke dissipated, a pink and jade-like little loli immediately appeared in front of many evil gods. No way? Human, a little human girl? Impossible. How could the queen of the evil god clan be a human being? Indeed, it must be an evil god disguised as a human being. But why doesn't this little girl have the slightest aura of the evil god in her body? Even if the evil god disguises herself well, the radiation power of the evil god in her body cannot be completely restrained. Could it be that she is not an evil god? There is no way he is not an evil god. If he is not an evil god, why would he become the king of the evil god clan? The immortal Emperor Qingyuan and the immortal Emperor Dongyang were stunned for a moment. They sensed that the aura of the little girl on the stage did not have any power of evil gods, as if she were an ordinary little human girl. To be honest, they felt that is it because I sensed something wrong? Why do I have this weird feeling? But even if this little girl is not an evil god, she is not an ordinary human being because it is absolutely impossible for an ordinary human little girl to become the king of many evil gods. The evil gods alone, the terrifying power of radiation cannot be resisted by ordinary humans or even ordinary creatures. A weaker body and soul will be distorted in an instant. And this little girl in a white skirt is Gu Yingying. Thank you everyone for coming to my Gu Yingying concert, and thank you for your support. Gu Yingying held the microphone in her hand and looked excited. She finally realized her dream and could hold a concert in front of everyone's attention. And it was not as simple as 1 or 2 concerts, but many concerts. The audience will be full every time she performs, and many guests travel long distances just to listen to her singing. There is no doubt that she has become a world-famous singer. We love you, Queen. Your singing voice is the most beautiful voice in the world. Queen, I have played your song countless times. Many fans shouted excitedly. When they saw their idols coming to the concert stage, they all had tears in their eyes and felt deeply moved. Okay, let's start the concert. Let me give you the first song, Red Wedding Dress. Gu Yingying began to sing. Suddenly, the lyrics started to be sung. My mother is optimistic about my red wedding dress. Don't let me die too early. Late at night, your long hair falls. Late at night, you close your eyes. This is a secret agreement. It belongs to you. It belongs to me. The wedding dress is red. The poison is white. I hope the woman you touch will bleed. I hope the woman you touch is rotting. What? In an instant, Immortal Emperor Qingyuan and Immortal Emperor Dongyang's hair stood on end, as if they felt a burst of terror. With Gu Yingying's body as the center, a huge domain instantly appeared, covering hundreds of millions of light years. Diameter of. The entire field seems to have turned into an absolute sound world. Every syllable caused vibrations in the laws of heaven and earth, and every note condensed and resonated with countless laws, communicating the most evil, dark, and strange forces in the world. In an instant, they found that their bodies disappeared into the concert, as if they had arrived on a deserted street late at night. At this moment, a woman wearing a red wedding dress is walking on the street, but she is bleeding from all her holes and her body is rotting, but she is still walking towards her firmly, as if she wants to fulfill her promise and marry you. At this moment, Immortal Emperor Qingyuan and Immortal Emperor Dongyang found that all the magic power in their bodies had disappeared, and they were like weak and helpless mortals. They could only watch helplessly as the woman in red walked over, and she reached out to touch her face. It seemed that the other party was going to break his neck in the next second and go to hell with them. Damn, I knew this was no ordinary concert. What kind of song is it that even a quasi-sage can't resist? Are you kidding me? This is not singing at all. It is simply a demonic voice, the whisper of an evil god. The Qingyuan Immortal Emperor and the Dongyang Immortal Emperor were almost scared out of their minds. Under the whisper of this evil god, they could not use all their strength. Even the death talisman had no effect. The endless red mist surged and instilled in Qingyuan Immortal Emperor and Dongyang Immortal Emperor. It seems to be forcibly twisting their blood genes and souls. This evil, strange, terrifying, and dark power is simply not something they can resist. Even if the other party is not, it wasn't directed at themselves, but just hearing such a voice made them feel like they were going crazy and wanted to escape from this place immediately. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. Have a favorite novel you'd like to hear next? Leave a comment with your suggestions or vote for the next novel to be converted. Your feedback helps shape the future of Fabelverse. Let's make this community thrive together. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 1569. Click, click, click. In an instant, Immortal Emperor Dongyang and Immortal Emperor Qingyuan went completely crazy. They felt infected by the power of the song, and this power, similar to a curse, directly acted on their bodies. Moreover, they're still in the center of the concert, so they are even more impossible to resist. It is simply impossible to escape and unstoppable. They sensed wisps of terrifying evil power, dark power, and mysterious power emerging from deep within their bodies, transforming their bodies and souls in an instant. The next second, they were stunned. They knew that they were completely different from before. They were no longer human beings or even members of all races in the world, but had truly become evil gods. No way. We have become evil gods? Just listening to a song actually forcibly transformed me into an evil god? The Immortal Emperor Dongyang and the Immortal Emperor Qingyuan were on the verge of tears, and their intestines were turning green with regret. They had long known that the evil god's base camp was extremely terrifying, and they were even prepared to die. But what happened now was it was far beyond their imagination. Just by listening to a song by the evil god queen, they were forcibly transformed into evil gods. Originally, they were just transformed into evil gods, but now they really became evil gods. This made their hair stand on end. Have no idea what happened. No wonder an immortal emperor once entered this place. Even though there was no ceiling formation, no immortal emperor escaped. I am afraid that they were not incapable of escaping, but were forcibly transformed into evil gods by the power of the evil god queen. Qingyuan, Immortal Emperor, understood at once. Why many immortal emperors have explored this place before, but still no immortal emperor can escape. It turns out that these immortal emperors have become members of the evil gods. Since they have become evil gods, then he is the mortal enemy of all the races in the heavens. If he returns to the immortal world, he will definitely die and will be executed by the heavenly court. Even if some immortal emperors are not afraid of death at all, because they are evil gods, every evil god is a core. If the pollution source dies or explodes, an endless area will be contaminated by the power of the evil god. This is like a nuclear leak. Whether it is for their own lives or for the sake of all sentient beings in the fairy world, they should not return to the fairyland, but should stay in the paradise of evil gods. What to do? What to do now? We became evil gods, and now we were completely screwed. The Dongyang Immortal Emperor was so regretful that his intestines were green. If he had known that this place was so dangerous, he would not have come here even if he was beaten to death. But now it is done, and it is too late to say anything. Now he is in this situation. Simply worse than death. Even if he uses the death talisman, he will still be an evil god when he returns to the fairy world. This is an irreversible state. Wait, how can such a song be so beautiful and beautiful? In an instant, Immortal Emperor Qingyuan was startled. He began to listen to Gu Yingying's second song, Death March. Originally, he thought the other party's singing was extremely terrifying, like the whisper of an evil god, like the friction of steel on a sawing machine. The voice was ordinary, extremely uncomfortable, and his head almost exploded. But now, after he transformed into the evil god and listened to Gu Yingying's voice again, he felt that the voice was like the sound of nature, the sound of chaos. The other party, every syllable seems to be resonating with the laws of chaos, activating the boundless power of darkness in the depths of the void, forming a boundless realm of darkness and death. The most important thing is that such singing has the effect of cleansing the soul. When they descended on the bodies of the evil gods, they felt as if their souls had been baptized. The buzzing sounds and negative emotions in the depths of the consciousness of the evil gods were suddenly cleared away, leaving them with incomparable silence and calm. Very comfortable. I see. Immortal Emperor Qingyuan instantly understood why the little girl in front of him could become the queen of the evil god, because such singing was so important to the evil god. You must know that although the evil god has an endless lifespan on the surface, she will be born as soon as she is born. They are immortal species, and are born with powerful power, which can be called immortal existences. But in fact, they also have shortcomings. Since they are born due to the evil thoughts and negative emotions of all living beings, they will accept them all the time. Evil thoughts and distracting thoughts from all sentient beings. It is conceivable that these evil gods will receive the sounds of evil thoughts from billions of sentient beings all the time. If they are weak evil gods, their sanity will not be able to withstand it for long, and they will be destroyed by these endless evil thoughts. When the time comes, he will become a complete monster. This kind of evil god has no wisdom at all. He is just a pure monster and a puppet of the evil thoughts of all living beings. For the evil god, this is equivalent to death. And this side effect is not that it can be solved once it becomes stronger. On the contrary, the stronger the evil god is, the more evil thoughts it will receive from all living beings, and the more complicated and terrifying the sounds of the evil thoughts will be. Although a powerful evil god can last for a long time, it will still cause a headache. They are cracked and will be tortured by this kind of pain all the time. In order to relieve this painful torture, these evil gods will be so violent, venting the dark emotions deep in their hearts through cruelty to life, and rejecting the voices of evil thoughts of all living beings. But now it is different. Gu Yingying's voice can purify the sounds of these evil thoughts, allowing the evil gods to minimize their pain and delay their complete madness. It can be said that this is equivalent to saving the lives of the evil gods. The results can be imagined. You know, these evil gods immediately regarded Gu Yingying as a savior and regarded Gu Yingying as the only master of the evil god clan and a true saint. If Gu Yingying existed, the evil god clan would definitely grow stronger than ever before. No wonder those evil gods protect a world so quietly without any sign of going crazy. Is it all the power of the evil queen? He can rule the entire clan of evil gods with just his singing voice. What a powerful force this is. Qingyuan, Immortal Emperor, was amazed. He naturally knew how incredible it was to be able to do this. Even saints and gods may not be able to do similar things. After all, those evil gods themselves are equivalent to saints and gods. It is said that in the god realm, the evil god clan is also famous, occupying a huge area and competing with many ancient races and ancient civilizations. Saint. The immortal Emperor Dongyang also knows the secret of the changes that have taken place in the evil god clan. Unfortunately, this secret can no longer be spread because they have become evil gods. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. Have a favorite novel you'd like to hear next? Leave a comment with your suggestions or vote for the next novel to be converted. Your feedback helps shape the future of Fabelverse. Let's make this community thrive together. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 1570. In the blink of an eye, the 3-hour concert was over. The evil gods who appeared at the concert had their souls cleansed one by one, and their auras of violence, chaos, and evil were also cleared away. Instead, there is unprecedented clarity and unprecedented refreshing. Great, really great. Is not that right? As expected of the queen, the singing is so beautiful. I feel like my soul has been cleansed, and I feel extremely comfortable. Originally, I still had tens of thousands of years to live, and I died not long after, but after listening to the queen's song, at least my lifespan was extended by millions of years, and I no longer have to fall into a crazy state. When will the next concert start? I want to come to listen to it. I'm not sure about this, but I'm afraid the next concert won't be free and you'll need to buy a ticket to enter. Tickets? This is not a problem. No matter how much money you spend, you still have to buy a concert ticket. Many evil gods were talking about it, and all of them were extremely excited. Especially some evil gods who were almost eroded by endless evil thoughts and almost dying. They were even more excited. When they heard a song, their souls were cleansed. The dirt on them greatly slows down their entry into chaos, which is equivalent to extending their lifespan. One can imagine their gratitude to Guiying. They have completely become Guiying's fans. Indeed, for those with such great supernatural powers, changing their appearance couldn't be easier. Many girls are talking about it, and they're all curious about the appearance of the head of the Starlight Sect, because they have never seen the head of the Starlight Sect, and they have never seen the head of the Starlight Sect until now. No, there is actually one thing that is extremely strange. Maybe everyone has not noticed that the leader may not be as old as we thought. A girl suddenly said, "Oh, why do you think that?" Mo Xiaozhu asked curiously. Haven't you discovered it yet? Basically, every senior sister we have met is a pure girl and has not lost her purity. The girl said categorically. As soon as these words came out, Mo Xiaozhu and others were simply stunned and dumbfounded, as if they had heard some big secret. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. Have a favorite novel you'd like to hear next? Leave a comment with your suggestions or vote for the next novel to be converted. Your feedback helps shape the future of Fabelverse. Let's make this community thrive together. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 1576. How did you know? Mo Xiaozhu couldn't help but ask. The other women were also extremely curious, because if this matter is true, it would be quite extraordinary. This is definitely one of the most important secrets of the Starlight Sect. Before I joined the Starlight Sect, I was the #1 in the brothel. Under the influence of my ears and eyes, it was too childish to recognize this fact. The charming woman smiled slightly. What? A group of girls were stunned and looked at this companion in disbelief. They did not expect that their companion had such an amazing origin. If you were the top brothel, how did you join the Starlight Sect?
Xianxia odsuwa szoket.
Stupid. The brothel's top brand doesn't even pick up customers. It's just a vase, a means to attract customers. The charming woman said with disdain. Of course, when I turn 18, I will start receiving customers, and there is an old man who wants to buy me away. Fortunately, the Starlight Gate appeared at this time, and I took the opportunity to sneak out and participate in the selection of the Starlight Gate. As a result, I entered the Starlight Gate. But if you do this, won't you offend that brothel? A woman asked. So, what if it offends? Could it be that the brothel dares to offend a super sect like the Starlight Sect? Now it's not that I'm afraid of offending them, but that they're afraid of offending me. Ever since they found out that I had joined the Starlight Sect, they all apologized, and even took the initiative to return the contract of betrayal to me and compensate me with a large amount of gifts, said the charming woman. I see. Mo Xiaozhu and others couldn't help but nod. Obviously, for this companion, joining the Starlight Sect is an opportunity to change her destiny. If there is no Starlight Sect, I am afraid she'll be stuck in the quagmire in her life and will never be able to do anything again. Extricate yourself. In fact, there are still many women with similar fates. They all have their own reasons before joining the Starlight Sect. If this is the case, then why are those senior sisters still young? Is it because the head of the family looks down on them? Someone asked. To be honest, if there are only 1 or 2 senior sisters, there is still this possibility, but if it is the same for everyone, then it is the head's own problem. The charming woman's beautiful eyes showed a glimmer of light. She had observed many senior sisters, but all of them were young. No matter how you looked at them, they all had unusual meanings. It was really unbelievable. They were obviously taking concubines for themselves under the banner of the sect. But he didn't touch a woman. It was really weird. No, you mean the headmaster is a eunuch? A female disciple immediately thought of this reason. Many women had gossipy looks in their eyes, and all of them were extremely curious. If this matter is true, it must be the biggest gossip news in the Starlight sect. Of course, if they weren't eunuchs, why didn't the head of the family eat them, but still behaved like this? Are there any men in this world who don't cheat? Especially when a group of women open their hearts to you is in front of you. Who can resist it? The charming woman said, with contempt. She is used to seeing men. If the man is not a house, there is only one reason, that is hanging on the wall. There is no other possibility. But if this is really the case, why would the master recruit us into the Starlight sect? It doesn't make sense. A female disciple felt extremely confused. You're right, the leader must be a person with great supernatural powers. Isn't a child's play to solve men's problems? Mo Xiaozhu also thinks that this possibility is not very high. What does a person with great supernatural powers mean? He is omnipotent and can do anything. Even cutting off the body and rebirth is a child's matter. She has never seen a person with great supernatural powers. You will be troubled by this kind of thing. Taking a step back, even if a person with great supernatural powers cannot solve this kind of thing, but now that technology is so advanced, it is too easy to solve similar things. Well, who knows what the leader is thinking? Maybe he has a psychological problem and wants to see us satisfy his own psychology. The charming woman is also a little unsure. There must be other reasons, but it is better not to speculate, so as not to violate the taboos of the Starlight Gate.
Xianxia Ozu reminded.
Yes. Many female disciples couldn't help but nod. They worked hard to join the Starlight sect, and they got such great benefits as soon as they entered the door. They don't want to lose them now. Try to imagine what they got just after entering the door. After receiving the baptism of Emperor Liu Jian, it is simply immeasurable how many benefits the sect will give them. Even the saints of the top sects can only do this. What's more, every one of them can get such treatment, and they don't want it because of some boring things. I completely lost this opportunity. A few more days passed in the blink of an eye. Mo Xiaozhu and others have completely adapted to the life on Xianhuang Star, and even feel that life in this place is too luxurious, because they don't need to worry about anything in their life on Xianhuang Star. They have clothes to open their mouths and food to stretch out their hands. After all, the entire Xianhuang planet has completely realized intelligent life. There are robots everywhere to handle all matters, such as cleaning, laundry, cooking, and even transportation. These smart appliances are all in one, so you don't need to worry about anything. Now let me first explain to you the cultivation methods of our Starlight sect. At this moment, Ouyang Shui also came to explain to Mo Xiaozhu and others the core cultivation techniques of the Starlight sect. Our basic technique is very simple, that is the Starlight technique, which is the supreme technique created by the Master. This technique can swallow the rays of endless starlight in the void. As long as there are stars, we can absorb the power of the stars and accommodate the power of billions of stars into one body. If we practice to a high level, it can even transform us into an eternal star, emitting infinite heat all the time, making us invincible. If we are protected by starlight, then we are simply invulnerable to all poisons, invulnerable to all laws, and all evils retreat. We are the eternal stars standing in the void, shining for eternity. Because you have the star mark, you are born to be the daughter of the stars and have been recognized by many stars, so you can more easily absorb the power of the sun, moon, and stars. Hearing this, Mo Xiaozhu and others' eyes suddenly lit up. They had long known that the strength of the Starlight sect was unfathomable. Just such a method was the fundamental method that pointed directly to the pinnacle of the avenue. It was the fundamental method of the outside world. It is a supreme method that cannot be spread. Just after listening for a while, they can feel that this method is profound and profound. It is not trivial. The person who created this method must be a person with unimaginable supernatural powers. It is conceivable that their future must be extremely bright. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. Have a favorite novel you'd like to hear next? Leave a comment with your suggestions or vote for the next novel to be converted. Your feedback helps shape the future of Fabelverse. Let's make this community thrive together. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 1577. After telling it for a while, Ouyang Shui stopped. Mo Xiaozhu and others also completely understood the method of practicing Starlight Ju and even reached the level of mastery. The reason why they understood so quickly was because they had been baptized by the Emperor's liquid, which made their cultivation qualifications extremely amazing, and even their understanding improved. If they go to other sects, they must be disciples of the inner sect, or even peerless geniuses at the level of true disciples, so it is natural for them to fully understand this technique. Senior Sister Ouyang, I wonder when we can see the leader? A female disciple asked curiously. After all, they have entered the Starlight sect for several days. As women who were selected to become the head of the Starlight sect, how can they not see the head of the Starlight sect for such a long time? This is an extremely strange thing. To be honest, they have long been extremely curious about the appearance of the head of the Starlight sect. You can see that evil ghost tomorrow. Ouyang Shui said expressionlessly. Can you see it today? Could it be that the master is coming? I wonder what the leader is like. Many female disciples are extremely excited and talking about it. After waiting for so many days, they can finally see the legendary head of the Starlight sect. No, he will not come to see you, but today is the annual disciple conference, so he will attend, and all disciples will attend together. Ouyang Shui explained. Disciple meeting? Mo Xiaozhu and others were very curious. Another day passed in the blink of an eye. In a square somewhere on Xianhuang's star, almost all the disciples of the Starlight sect were gathered at this moment. A peerless beauty, with a beauty that is as beautiful as a fish and a goose, and the moon is shy of the flowers. There are so many beauties here.
Montags Ozu was amatzet.
Although she also thought that her beauty was unparalleled in the world, but after seeing these senior sisters from the Starlight sect, she realized what it means that there is a world outside the world, and there are people outside the world. It was like gathering all the beauties in the world. She felt it seemed that I had arrived at a beauty pageant. Even her beauty seemed to have become an ordinary person that could be seen everywhere. The leader is here. At this moment, a senior sister suddenly called out. Swish, swish, swish. In an instant, almost all the female disciples looked over and saw a cute little young lady appearing in front of everyone, with pink lips and white teeth, and her body seemed to be surrounded by thousands of stars. This is like the emperor of countless stars. As soon as he appears, he immediately becomes the center of attention. No one can ignore his existence. He is the inevitable center among the crowd. This is the leader? Mo Xiaozhu and other new female disciples were immediately confused. They had thought about what the head of the Starlight sect looked like, whether he was a handsome man, a greasy middle-aged bald man, or an old man, etc. But they were beaten to death. None of them expected that it was a young lady. It was really unbelievable. Our leader is just a child? Many female disciples are simply unbelievable. The charming woman before finally understood why so many senior sisters are young. It turns out that the master is just a child. Since he is a child, he naturally does not have that ability. Everything before the doubts were instantly solved at this moment. The question is, if it was just a child, how could it be possible for the Starlight sect to develop and grow to such an extent that it would frighten countless sects in the White Lion Immortal domain and force many sects to cede territory and pay compensation? I guess it's fake. Don't some people with great supernatural powers like to change into various forms? Some like to transform into old people, some like to transform into beggars, some like to transform into ordinary people, etc. Some people like to transform into children, which is actually not difficult to understand. A female disciple said. I see. Mo Xiaozhu and others all agreed, thinking that maybe the other party was a powerful person who liked to transform into children. No, the leader did not transform into a child, but he was just a child himself. Ouyang Shui suddenly stood up. But the Starlight sect has been established for many years. No matter what happens, you can't always look like a child. Mo Xiaozhu couldn't help but express his doubts. When he was in the immortal world alone, tens of thousands of years had passed due to the speed of time. In such a long time, even a pig became an immortal. No matter what in this way, the other party should be an adult. Of course, it's because the leader is not an ordinary person. The master's body is a powerful chaos demon god. His growth cycle is beyond what we mortals can imagine. Calculated by eras, the leader has survived for at least 18 chaos eras. Is truly an adult. Ouyang Shui said in a deep voice. What? Mo Xiaozhu and others were stunned for a moment. They had no idea that the head of the family would have such a long childhood, and that he would need to live through 18 chaos epochs to become an adult. You must know that a chaos era is equivalent to the time it takes for the 6 universes to revolve once. The problem is that the time it takes for the 6 universes to revolve once is incredibly long. We don't even know how many billions of years have passed in the past. Even the lifespan of an ordinary planet is not that long. Just one epoch of chaos is so terrifying. 18 epochs of chaos is really an age. They can't imagine what kind of species the leader is and why the growth cycle is so long. In other words, for the leader, tens of thousands of years are just a snap of a finger. Oh, isn't this Shui? Are you finally back from the outside? With a whoosh, at this moment, Guchen flashed and came to Ouyang Shui in an instant. He smiled evilly, stretched out his hand, and gently lifted Ouyang Shui's smooth chin. Master, please respect yourself. Now is the time to convene a general meeting. Swish! Ouyang Shui's originally cold face turned red all of a sudden, as if she was a helpless little girl. Whoosh whoosh. In an instant, almost all the women in the venue looked over and concentrated on Ouyang Shui and Gu Qin. Their beautiful eyes were burning, looking at Ouyang Shui with envy and jealousy. The faces of many new female disciples were very strange. Before, Ouyang Shui often scolded the master as an old SP, but now they're like little girls. It seems like there is something fishy between the two of them. They all look like they are gossiping. Don't worry, when can the conference start? We are all a family. Just be casual as if you are not just my disciples, but also my concubines. We are in a master-student relationship. Gu Qin said loudly. What kind of master-disciple relationship? You scumbag. With a swish, Ouyang Shui's beautiful face instantly turned red, almost steaming out, as if it had been cooked. She was so confused. She suddenly thought of many weird scenes. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. Have a favorite novel you'd like to hear next? Leave a comment with your suggestions or vote for the next novel to be converted. Your feedback helps shape the future of Fabelverse. Let's make this community thrive together. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 1578. Sect Master, please respect yourself. This is the Starlight Sect's Disciples Conference now, and has Sect Master forgotten his plan? If you lose time, you may have to wait for a long time. With a whoosh, a woman with a perfect figure flashed and came to Gu Chen's side in an instant. She was filled with a strong aura and grabbed Gu Chen. And she was Du, the deputy sect leader of the Starlight Sect.
Montakian.
All right. Hearing this, Gu Chen was very helpless and could only give up the idea of continuing to tease Ouyang Shui. He returned to the high platform in a flash, exuding an inexplicable aura. Ouyang Shui's face was red, and it could not calm down for a long time. Congratulations on joining the Starlight Sect. After joining the Starlight Sect, you only need to remember one thing. We are the only ones who bully others, and others must not bully us. If anyone dares to bully you, you can report it to the sect immediately, and the Starlight Sect will make the decision for you. Gu Chen said categorically. His voice seemed to be the sound of chaos, spreading throughout the Xianhuang star, causing the void to tremble. This. Mo Xiaozhu and others looked at Gu Chen on the high platform. For some reason, they felt that the serious Gu Chen was more handsome than ever before, and his body exuded endless starlight, as if he was the real lord of the stars, possessing with earth-shattering power. Every breath of the other party can attract thousands of stars. Even the other party's eyes are extremely deep, like black holes, swallowing the souls of countless lives and never come out again. It seems that at this moment, the other party is no longer a human being. He is a disciple, but the Emperor of the Stars who controls the supreme power. Master, the time has come. Deputy Sect Leader Du Moyen said in a deep voice. Okay, let's get started. Activate the Starlight Infinite Chaos Formation. Gu Chen nodded. Immediately, many Starlight Sect elders immediately took action. They were scattered on every Gaia planet. Each Gaia planet was a node of the formation, swallowing the power of the chaotic void. At this moment, they instantly activated the power of each formation node. The 129,600 Gaia planets in the surrounding area shook, and endless star light emerged, intertwined with each other, and seemed to form a super star planet. The formation enveloped the void. All the creatures staying in this star field felt the birth of the change in the world, especially the disciples of the Starlight Sect. They felt it more deeply, as if something extraordinary had changed. What happened? Isn't it said that this is the induction meeting for our new disciples? No, it's not just as simple as an introductory meeting. It seems that the head of the family has a more important plan. I don't know what it is, but it seems to have a profound impact. Mo Xiaozhu and others were very curious and discussed what happened. But no one paid attention to the doubts of these new disciples. All the elders of the Starlight Sect were extremely excited, as if this was something they had been waiting for a long time. After preparing for such a long time, the plan began, and this time it was finally possible to light up all the stars in the fairy world. Gu Chen touched his chin. With his body as the center, the star fluctuations spread out in circles, spreading at an extremely fast speed, affecting one star field after another, and seemed to resonate with the law on countless planets. Obviously, what he has to do is very simple, which is to awaken the consciousness of countless living planets so that many living planets can evolve into Gaia planets and become the people of Gaia. If a living planet wants to evolve into Gaia planet, there is no external force with the help of Gu Chen. It is almost impossible, and the chance is less than 1 in a trillion. But if Gu Chen's special magical power is used, then these living planets give birth to Gaia consciousness. Then it's 100% a matter of fact. And if these life planets become Gaia planets, they will also become Gu Chen's people and be used by him. When the time comes, he will deploy a star array covering the entire fairy world, so in the array, any life or existence within it has no escape. Then finding the Book of Supernatural Powers is also a piece of cake. It is worthy of being a fairy world. As expected, this world has more stars that become Gaia than the human world, and it is more than 10,000 times more. Gu Chen smiled slightly. He held this initiation meeting not only to meet the new disciples, but also to arrange the formation to completely activate the Gaia planet, the life planet of the entire fairy world. Once the entire fairy world is filled with Gaia, if it were a planet, then the whole world would be his territory. Boom, boom, boom. Suddenly, he felt that in the fairy world, one life planet after another was lighting up, and one Gaia life after another was about to be born. Come out and scatter all over the fairy world. If anyone has the distribution map of the Gaia planet, then you can see that the Gaia light lights up one after another in the map of the fairy world, and countless Gaia lives are nurtured. Come out. Silently, the Gaia family is developing and growing, and the number of Gaia planets is increasing rapidly. Of course, except for the Starlight Gate, no one knows that the power of the Gaia family is constantly increasing. Rumble. In an instant, the life planets scattered throughout the fairyland, under the touch of this power, began to give birth to a hazy planetary will, giving birth to a faint consciousness. Me, who am I? Where am I from? Where do you go from, and why do you come here? Suddenly, the weak consciousness of the living planets began to awaken. They began to have questions, began to become curious about the outside world, and developed a desire to explore the outside world.
Boom tilde tilde.
Immediately, a star mark instantly disappeared into these Gaia planets deep in their core, integrated into their souls. This star mark makes these Gaia planets become the dependents of Gu Chen. That's it, I am Gaia. The living planets received the inheritance information from the star marks. They suddenly understood their situation and knew what they were born for and why. After all, these Gaia planets are advanced life forms. In terms of IQ, they are many times higher than ordinary people. As long as there is enough information, they can mature in a short time. At the same time, as the planet of Gaia, it can also sense the emanations of all life on the entire planet at all times. The brain waves that come out can know any thoughts of these beings. It can be said that as long as you are in the Gaia planet, not many people can hide from the perception of the Gaia planet. First, log in to the Universe Virtual Network and join a Gaia group. A new Gaia instantly knows what it should do from the inherited knowledge, which is to log in to the Universe Virtual Network and join a Gaia group. Through the Universe Virtual Network, it can find companions scattered throughout the fairy world. No matter what happens, you can get help in the group, and there are a lot of benefits. All credit goes to the original author. If you're the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. Have a favorite novel you'd like to hear next? Leave a comment with your suggestions or vote for the next novel to be converted. Your feedback helps shape the future of Fabelverse. Let's make this community thrive together. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 1579. Ding Dong. At this moment, a new Gaia immediately passed the group and joined one of the Gaia groups. It is a living planet in the Whale Fairy realm, so it joined the Gaia group in the Whale Fairy realm. Basically, this group comes from the Gaia planet in the Whale Fairyland. I saw that this new Gaia had just joined and was immediately welcomed by countless old Gaias. Welcome, welcome, welcome the new Gaia to join our family in Whale Fairyland. Haha, more and more new Gaias are being born now. In the past hundreds of millions of years, there may not have been a new Gaia group. Now it is like a sow giving birth to piglets, one after another. This is a normal thing. After all, it is the unique magical power of the son of the mother goddess that can give birth to a large number of Gaia, so we can give birth to so many new Gaias. Yes, it's all the young master's credit. Now it's better. Who will dare to say that our Gaia family is sparse in the future? Now the number of our Gaia family is no less than that of those peak races. You are right. Maybe we can also compete for the title of the pinnacle race by then. However, the number of Gaia has increased a lot during this period, but the young master's ability is not to create something out of nothing, but to assist those powerful life planets to cross the threshold. Indeed, if there are life planets without potential, even the young master's magical power cannot help these life planets evolve into Gaia planets. No. It's not that it's impossible to become a Gaia planet, it's just that it will consume a lot of the young master's original power. To be honest, doing this is not worth the gain. Indeed, planets without qualifications cannot become Gaia, which is actually a good thing. It is not necessary for every planet to breed the consciousness of Gaia, a part of it is enough. Newcomer, tell me quickly, what is your name? Suddenly, many Gaias appeared in the group, and they all started to swipe the screen in unison. After all, the appearance of so many new Gaias is an unprecedented joy, because there are too few newborns in the Gaia family. Without Gu Chun, it would have taken at least billions of years to give birth to a new Gaia. Nia, my name is Nia. A new Gaia immediately said, this is the true name deep in their souls. It is the only name conceived by gathering the consciousness of infinite life on this planet. Each Gaia's name is unique, just like human beings. The bloodline genes are average, and it is impossible for them to have the same existence. It turns out to be Xianxia. What a cute name! Since you are a newborn Gaia, your soul should now have obtained a star mark, which contains the database of our Gaia family and is the ultimate inheritance of our Gaia family. As long as your strength reaches a certain level, you can start the inheritance of this soul and obtain the corresponding skills and magical powers. That's right. Although you are Gaia and are born with powerful power that cannot be matched by ordinary immortals, you are not invincible either. You should still be careful. Indeed, the Gaia family does have considerable power, but it does not mean that there are no other lives. Other powers can handle it. After all, you have just been born and your strength is still very weak, so the most important thing you should do now is to hide yourself. the sole breath on the body, so as not to be discovered by interested people. Yes, there are some teams that specialize in hunting newborn Gaia. They like to devour our Gaia consciousness, and even want to replace it and gain the power of our Gaia family. This must be guarded against. If we encounter these bastards, we, the Gaia clan, will kill everyone we see without stopping. This kind of thing is absolutely not allowed to happen. Many Gaia seniors immediately opened their mouths to give guidance to the new student Xianxia. Yes, senior. The new student Xianxia nodded and carefully learned the lessons of her predecessors. Although she has the inheritance information of the Gaia family, the information is just information after all, and it cannot compare with the life experience of her predecessors.
The
Gaia seniors here, all of them, have survived for more than trillions of years. The so-called aging of a person, just the experience of dealing with others, is not comparable to that of the new Gaia. Especially when she heard that there was a team that hunted the new Gaia for a living, she was even more. The hairs on her back stood up, fearing that bad people would target her, the newly born Gaia, and she would be in trouble. After all, she had just gained life and her own will, and she didn't want to die like this. And we're the Gaia clan after all, and we should be the big boss hiding behind the scenes. We cannot do anything ourselves. We must let our subordinates help us, so that we can be as invisible as possible. In short, the biggest path for us as the Gaia clan is the way of go. If we are the strongest, then no one can do anything to us. A Gaia senior imparts experience. Senior, what do you mean by subordinates? Little Xianxia studied humbly, and she felt very deep in her heart. She is worthy of being the senior Gaia who has survived for countless billions of years. Every word she speaks contains profound wisdom about survival. We, the Gaia family, have an innate magical power, which is to absorb the souls of the dead on the planet, and then let these souls evolve into heroic spirits. These heroic spirits will become our dependents and do things for us. However, the positions of heroic spirits are limited, so you must choose carefully. It is best to choose those heroes who are famous in history. After all, heroes who can fight through countless creatures and leave a name in history are all human spirits. They must be the geniuses who stand above countless others. There is definitely nothing wrong in choosing them. Yes, if there are enough outstanding heroic spirits, then it will be a huge good thing for a new Gaia, and it will save a lot of energy. And no matter what happens or what enemies you encounter, you can teach the heroic spirits to solve them. Of course, meeting enemies is just a trivial matter. The most important thing is that if we, Gaia, want to grow rapidly, we need to obtain various minerals from the universe, as well as cosmic wonders, soul wonders, etc. Since it is difficult for the newborn Gaia to move its body, these special treasures will be difficult to obtain simply by relying on our strength. But it will be different if we leave it to the heroic spirits. They can move freely and have extremely strong combat power. Relying on these excellent heroic spirits can bring us a large amount of resources and quickly promote our growth. It's true that every excellent Gaia is an outstanding boss. You don't necessarily need to be the best, but you must be the leader who is the best at using people. Many Gaia seniors talked about it and taught Gaia how to survive. I see. Little Xianxia suddenly realized that she felt that she had a deeper understanding of the Gaia family's practice. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. Have a favorite novel you'd like to hear next? Leave a comment with your suggestions or vote for the next novel to be converted. Your feedback helps shape the future of Fabelverse. Let's make this community thrive together. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 1580. But seniors, I am simply penniless now, and do not have any money to purchase resources to promote my growth. Nia said very helplessly. Now she is simply a poor new Gaia. Even if she wants to survive the novice stage, she doesn't know how much money she will need to spend. It is very miserable. Don't worry, in view of the situation of your new Gaia, we, the Gaia family, have established a fund specifically to issue loans to you, the new Gaia. An old Gaia laughed. Each new Gaia will get a loan limit of 1 million chaos coins. Of course, the borrowed money also needs to be repaid. You can borrow it in installments for 30,000 years, with an interest of 2% per year. A loan amount of 1 million chaos coins, with an interest rate of 2% per year? Hearing this, Nia was stunned. From the inheritance information, we can know that the interest rate of 2% per year is indeed not high, and even banks do not offer such low interest rates. In short, this is indeed the Gaia family's attitude towards new students. Gaia's care. You must know that the value of chaos coins is very high. You don't know how many things you can buy with one chaos coin. If it is a full million chaos coins, it can completely let them get through the novice stage quickly. But even if you have a loan limit of 1 million chaos coins, don't spend the money easily or squander it at will. Otherwise, after you spend the money, your strength has not increased at all, and it may be completely wasted. At that time, just the interest on the loan will crush you to death, so every money must be spent wisely. Old Gaia said in a deep voice. It said that the new Gaia had previously received a loan line of 1 million chaos coins. Because of the sudden huge sum of money, its mentality was a bit inflated. After all, the other party was afraid of poverty before. As soon as I got rich, I started squandering money everywhere in the online mall. I didn't know how many useless things I bought, which completely satisfied my shopping needs. Later, the new Gaia was very miserable and squandered 1 million chaos coins. However, its strength did not improve much, so it had to work for the old seniors for hundreds of thousands of years before it finally paid off its debt. Because of this, many old Gaias used this incident to warn these new Gaias, you can't become incoherent once you succeed. Yes, senior. Nia learned very humbly and then continued to ask, but even if we borrow 1 million chaos coins, we have no ability to make money. How can we repay the loan in the future? She wants to know what the Gaia family's earning power is. If there is no stable way to make money, then she will probably be sitting on nothing. Haha, how could someone from the Gaia family be short of money? Hearing this, an old Gaia immediately laughed. Because you are new Gaia, your strength is not very strong, and the means of making money are actually very limited. If it is the old Gaia which has completely unified the entire planet, then all the creatures on this planet will work for you and make money for you, and you will only need to extract a certain tax rate from it, and then you will be able to make money continuously. And the better you manage your planet, the more money you will make. For example, some Gaias manage their planets as tourist stars and continue to promote them on the internet, which greatly increases the popularity of their planets. Every year people from different parts of the fairyland come to vacation. As you can imagine, this planet has an influx of tourists. These tourists come to this planet to spend money, and the money they earn every year is unimaginable. It can be described as making a lot of money every day. At this point, it paused and continued. In addition to tourist planets, some Gaias choose to run. Senior Brother Dulong, there's nothing I can't figure out. I think the strongest strange fire is undoubtedly the pure lotus demonic fire. A core disciple stood up and said, this kind of strange fire has the special effect of purifying all things. Anything can be touched by it, even a little bit. It will be purified into nothingness. It can even be induced by people's emotions and enter the body, purifying the physical and soul-fighting energy into nothingness. The power is extremely terrifying, which can be said to shock the ancients and the present. However, this kind of strange fire is extremely rare in the world. Only one exists, but no one knows where they are, and no one knows who recorded this thing in the first place, but no one has ever really seen it. Before this, no one knew where it was, but the sect leader had great supernatural powers and took back the pure lotus demon fire and placed it in the palace of fire. But because the pure lotus demon fire has given birth to spiritual wisdom, just like real life, so far, no disciple has obtained the pure lotus demon fire. Now only the sect leader can control it. He said that the pure lotus demon fire is the most powerful heaven and earth fire. Junior brother, you are wrong. The pure lotus demonic fire is indeed powerful, but it cannot compare to the red lotus karmic fire. Another core disciple jumped out. The Red Lotus Karma Fire is a terrifying fire from the blood sea of hell. It is specially fueled by evil power and karma. Once someone is contaminated by it, it will not stop until it is burned out. No matter what, no means can extinguish the power of the Red Lotus Karma Fire. It can be said that this is a special fire that restrains many ascetics. After controlling the Red Lotus Karmic Fire, you are a humanoid chaos magic weapon. No one dares to offend you, and no one dares to get close to you. Once you get close, it will definitely cause a huge disaster. He said that the Red Lotus Karma Fire is the real strongest fire. Fart, Red Lotus Karma Fire is powerful, but it also has many flaws. One of them is that it can only have an effect on living things, but it cannot cause much damage to non-living things. This is the flaw of Red Lotus Karma Fire. It's easy to deal with the Red Lotus Karmic Fire, just seal it up. Another core disciple said with disdain, "If you ask me, the strongest strange fire in the world is still the void swallowing flame. It is the strongest strange fire in the universe. You must know that this fire was born in nothingness. It has no form to be found and no form to grasp. It is a rather strange existence. The nothingness swallows the flame. It is known as the thing that swallows the sky and the earth. It has the ability to swallow all things. Between heaven and earth, only a few things can resist that kind of devouring power. If you can master this kind of flame, it is equivalent to a human-shaped black hole, swallowing everything and getting stronger with each battle. It is many times more terrifying than the mythical beast Taotai, who is the opponent of nothingness swallowing fire. His face was very proud, indicating that the fire of nothingness is the only flame in the sky and on the earth. Fuck your uncle. Another core disciple sneered. Xianhuang flame is the real strongest fire. It is born from Xianhuang and contains endless Xianhuang qi. It is indestructible to all laws and all evils are immortal. A wisp of Xianhuang flame can suppress eternity. If you get the Xianhuang flame, it is equivalent to getting the chaos bell. You can stand in an invincible position. A wisp of Xianhuang qi can suppress the 9 heavens and 10 earths. It's really shameless. Another core disciple sneered. The Chaos Green Lotus Fire is the strongest strange fire. It is a flame that exists in the chaotic void. Born in the depths of the chaotic void, it has gone through countless times of tempering, fusion, compression, and carving in the chaotic void. It takes hundreds of millions of years to become a spirit, tens of billions of years to take shape, and hundreds of billions of years to form a lotus. When it is fully mature, its color will turn green, and the lotus heart will grow. A cluster of green fire. Its name is Qinglian fire. The power of this fire is unpredictable. Once it triggers the power of the Chaos Green Lotus, it will form the destructive power of nature. The treasure symbiotic with this fire is the Green Lotus Seed. It can calm down during practice and avoid being possessed by fire. It can also make people very sensitive to the fire attribute energy between heaven and earth. Only jade objects, such as jade rulers, jade knives, etc., can be used to cut from the chaotic void.
And down.
The Chaos Lotus Seed is a treasure produced on the Green Lotus Seed. It has a wide range of uses. Only when the Chaos Green Lotus Fire and the Green Lotus Seed are in the same place can it be condensed into one seed over tens of billions of years. Its wonderful uses are simply endless. Suddenly, the group of Yen sect disciples started arguing, and they all said that this kind of strange fire was the strongest strange fire, but no one of them would admit defeat, and they were so angry that they were blushing. Many new disciples looked at each other in confusion and didn't know what to say. It seemed that these core disciples were arguing about who was the strongest alien fire, and each held his own opinion, and no one could convince the other. Okay, stop talking. Now is the time for new disciples to obtain the heaven and earth fire. This is not the time for you to quarrel. Please step aside. Du Long said speechlessly, and immediately stopped all the fellow apprentices. To be honest, in order to argue about who is the strongest alien fire, many fellow apprentices in the Yen sect have argued countless times and even fought over this. In short, this is a topic that will explode if ignited. Yes, senior brother do. Many fellow brothers were also very helpless and had to retreat temporarily. After all, we can't just fight here in front of so many new disciples. If the elders knew about this, I'm afraid none of them would be able to bear the consequences. If you leave, you will be severely punished by the sect rules. Okay, you go to the fire palace first and choose the heaven and earth fire that suits you. Du Long stood with his hands behind his back and said to the many new disciples, "Yes, senior brother Du." Hearing this, many new disciples did not hesitate. Under the leadership of their senior brothers, they immediately entered the Palace of Fire. Suddenly, they felt as if they had come to a world of flames. This place was filled with endless flames. The different fires of heaven and earth contain infinite heat. To be honest, if such heat breaks out completely, even an immortal will be burned alive. However, in this world of fire dimension, none of the Yen sect disciples feel any heat. It seems that their bodies are protected by an invisible force. It is precisely because of this that they can survive in this dimension of fire. If people from other sects come to this place, they may be affected by endless strange things. It was shamelessly miserable to be burned alive by fire, with no body left intact. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. Have a favorite novel you'd like to hear next? Leave a comment with your suggestions or vote for the next novel to be converted. Your feedback helps shape the future of Fabelverse. Let's make this community thrive together. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 1585. Oh my god, is this the Palace of Fire? It is indeed the dimension of fire, containing endless different fires from heaven and earth. A new disciple was simply dumbfounded. He looked over and saw that the area of this dimension of fire was simply endless. Even a fairyland might not be able to match the area of the dimension of fire at this moment. There is no end in sight at all. A cave world, vast and boundless. There are too many. It seems that every kind of strange fire occupies an endless area. Many disciples were stunned. They saw that in this dimension of fire, there are countless different fires from heaven and earth, but each kind of different fires from heaven and earth has its own territory. It seems that each kind of strange fire has formed a huge ethnic group turned into a race, occupied an area, and even recuperated and gave birth to more different types of different fires. It can be said that each type of different fires has formed a huge kingdom of fire. They seem to see the different fires' civilizations gathered here. Shock it, this is a magical power that the sect leader cannot imagine. This is a scene that will be extremely shocking no matter how many times you see it. This is also the place that our Yen sect is most proud of. Du Long stood with his hands behind his back and sighed with emotion. Originally, our world is just an ordinary world in the human world. Even if it is a little stronger than other worlds, it actually has its limits. But since the Lord Sect Master appeared, the whole world has undergone earth-shaking changes. He has swallowed up one kind of heaven and earth fire after another from the void. And these heavenly and earthly strange fires swarmed in from the chaotic void, bringing with them huge amounts of original energy. These original energies caused earth-shaking changes in the flame world and evolved again and again. When the types of these heaven and earth fires reach hundreds of millions, this world already has the power to ascend to the immortal world, and the origin of the entire world has been strengthened to an unimaginable level. It is because of this that our world can ascend directly from the human world to the fairy world, and all the creatures in our world have benefited greatly from this and become immortals in the fairy world. To be honest, he was very shocked, because it was not that no one in the Yen realm ascended to the immortal realm before. There would always be some amazing geniuses who ascended to the immortal realm. But now, the sect master has led the people of the whole world to ascend together. If he hadn't witnessed it with his own eyes, he wouldn't have believed that such a thing would happen, but it did happen, and it happened under his own eyes. This also made him extremely respectful to the sect leader Gu Yen, and at the same time he was loyal and would never do it. Will betray. Okay, that's it for now. Next, you can use the Yen sect's mental method. the 9 turns of fire god technique, to let your body reveal the aura of a Yen sect disciple. At this time, Dulong looked at everyone and said, "In this way, the strange fires in this world can sense your aura, and they will gather around and choose partners that are suitable for them. If you are recognized by them, you can merge the different fires into one. If you are not recognized by the other party, then you can't force it. You can only say that you have no fate. Of course, even if you are recognized by the alien fire, if your body cannot bear the other party's power, don't force it. Otherwise, you will definitely be incinerated by the alien fire." Yes, Senior Brother Dulong. Many disciples nodded seriously. They had heard about the dangers of fusing the strange fire before. Although it would be very safe to a large extent, accidents would occasionally happen, and they would be burned to death by the strange fire. They have already done this. Be mentally prepared. It didn't take long for many new disciples to have selected the heaven and earth strange fire that suited them. They felt that their bodies and the strange fire were integrated, and their strength and perception of the spiritual energy of heaven and earth were improved to a higher level. Building. Especially after integrating the alien fire, their qualifications have been raised to a new level. This is the secret of Yenzong disciples. To be honest, there are definitely not a few cultivators who practice flames, but Yen sect disciples are far superior to these cultivators because they can easily integrate the different fires between heaven and earth. With the power of strange fire, their combat power far exceeds that of other monks. It seems that the qualifications of this generation of disciples are good, and there is actually no one who failed to fuse the alien fire. Dulong was very satisfied. You must know that in the human world, although there were many entry-level disciples, there were disciples who failed to fuse the different fires from time to time. After all, there is still a certain probability of failure in the fusion of the different fires. But in the fairy world, among so many entry-level disciples, none of them failed to integrate the strange fire. So it is conceivable that the quality of the disciples in the immortal world is much better than that in the human world. But there is nothing that can be done about it. After all, the immortal world is much better than the human world. The human world is really big, and there are too many, and they are unified together, so there is a lot more room for choosing disciples, which is not comparable to the human world. Senior Brother Dulong, I wonder what kind of strange fire you have fused? Of course, if it's not convenient to say it, just pretend I didn't ask. A new disciple asked curiously. There is no scruple. In fact, this is not a secret. Many people in the sect know that the strange fire I fused is the 9 Dragons Thunder Gang fire. Dulong stood with his hands behind his back. What?
Kowloon Thunder Gang 4.
As expected of Senior Brother Dulong, he is really awesome. What exactly does it mean? Is the Kowloon Thunder Gang fire very powerful? Of course it is powerful. The Kowloon Thunder Gang fire is also one of the strongest strange fires between heaven and earth. It is a silver flame. As the flame rises, 9 silver fire dragons can be seen faintly, shuttling in the flame. And within the strange fire, there is a concentration of dragon power, so there is a silver flame with a magical effect that shocks the soul. 9 small fire dragons shuttle around in it, as if they have spiritual intelligence, and there is a faint dragon power permeating it. When it comes out, it makes people's soul power feel a little depressed. It can be said that once you master the 9 Dragons Thunder Gang fire, you can not only control the power of the 9 real dragons, but also the power of thunder and fire will follow you when you take action, just like the arrival of the Dragon Emperor, Invincible. My god, is Kowloon Lei Gonghua so tyrannical? As expected of Senior Brother Dulong, many new disciples were talking and looking at Dulong with admiration. They didn't expect that Senior Brother Dulong could actually tame the 9 Dragons Thunder Gang fire. It was really unbelievable. After the process of taming the strange fire just now, they knew how to fuse the different fire. The danger. If the different fire compatibility between each other is inconsistent, or if your body cannot bear it, you will definitely be swallowed up by the power of the different fire, and your body will die. It is completely conceivable that the fusion of the 9 Dragons Thunder Gang fire Dulong not only has amazing qualifications, but also has the kind of strength that can shock the past and the present. Otherwise, it would be impossible to tame the 9 dragons' Thunder Gang fire. P.S. Because it is the first day of the new year, I will update it a little earlier today. Wish all book friends a happy new year. Asterisk. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. Have a favorite novel you'd like to hear next? Leave a comment with your suggestions or vote for the next novel to be converted. Your feedback helps shape the future of Fabelverse. Let's make this community thrive together. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 1586. Whoosh whoosh. Not long after, many new disciples came out of the fire palace. Suddenly, a beautiful woman in a white dress walked over, exuding unparalleled aura and power, as if she was a powerful empress. Many disciples were trembling. They felt that the strange fire in their bodies was trembling uncontrollably, as if they were afraid of the woman in the white dress. This is an uncontrollable panic. Mr. Deputy Sect Master. Seeing this person, Dulong and others immediately saluted respectfully. They immediately recognized that this woman was Bai Ruoliu, the deputy sect leader of Yen's sect. Bai Ruoliu nodded, didn't say anything more, and quickly disappeared in front of everyone. Call. Seeing Bai Ruoliu leaving, many disciples breathed a sigh of relief. It seemed that the oppressive atmosphere in the air had completely dissipated. Is that the legendary deputy sect master Bai Ruoliu just now? A new disciple asked curiously. Yes, that person just now was Master Bai Ruoliu. When you see the deputy sect master in the future, you must be respectful. If you anger the deputy sect master, no one in the world can save you. Yes, it is said that the deputy sect master has been following the sect master before he rose up, fighting in the north and south, and he has made countless contributions and has a strong record. When she was in the human world, the deputy sect master was already revered as the empress of the Yen sect. The strange fire in her body was terrifying and overwhelming, and her combat power was second only to the sect master. Even if he ascends to the immortal realm, the deputy sect master's combat power is still terrifying. Although he is not as invincible as the sect master, he can still beat the supreme elders of other sects to the ground. Yes, the sect leader is aloof and inaccessible to ordinary people, but the deputy sect leader is responsible for managing many affairs of the sect and can be regarded as the actual sect leader, holding great power. Many core disciples of the Yen sect reminded that you must not offend the deputy sect leader Bai Ruoliu, otherwise no one in the world can save you, and you will die without a complete body. However, the deputy sect master's combat power is so terrifying. I wonder what the strange fire in his body is. Yes, when the deputy sect leader appeared just now, I felt that my body and the strange fire in my body were shaking uncontrollably. It's really terrifying. I feel that the deputy sect master is an unimaginable emperor and cannot compete at all. It seems that with just one order, our heads will fall to the ground. Many new disciples were horrified. After sensing Bai Ruoliu's aura, they felt that they were no match for the deputy sect leader. They didn't even have the courage to take action against the deputy sect leader. This was simply beyond countless dimensions. Monster. It is natural for you to feel this way. That is because the deputy sect leader controls a unique fire that is unique in the sky and the earth, and its name is the 9-turn Emperor Flame. Long said in a deep voice. 9-turn Emperor Flame? He actually used the word Emperor to call the strange fire. Could it be that this kind of strange fire is extremely terrifying and powerful? Isn't that a normal thing? The strange fire that can be controlled by the deputy sect leader is more than that simple. I wonder what kind of power the 9-turn Emperor Flame has. Everyone was awestruck when they heard this, as if this strange fire contained incredible power. What is 9 revolutions? In Taoist terms, it means the ultimate. It means the highest. The completion of 9 revolutions of elixir and the completion of 9 revolutions of merit mean that one has reached the ultimate in the world. Long's eyes revealed a glimmer of light, and the strange fire in the body of the deputy sect leader is like this. Its level has reached the limit that the strange fire in the world can reach. It is the highest strange fire, and it is boundless in terror. It's just high quality, but more importantly, this kind of strange fire has incredible power. It can strengthen itself by swallowing the power of other strange fires. The more strange fires it swallows, the greater its power. At the same time, it also has a kind of magical power. That is, it can easily reverse the power of various laws of heaven and earth with just one command. Often the deputy sect leader doesn't need to take action at all. He just needs to say a word to kill the enemy. Once upon a time, our Yen sect was besieged by masters from the 10 sections. At this time, the deputy sect master personally took action and just said the word die. As a result, all the invading masters were killed.
What?
Many disciples were shocked. They also knew why the deputy sect leader Bairuoliu was so powerful that countless disciples were in awe of him. It was not only because Bairuoliu held real power, but more importantly, Bairuoliu was in awe of him. Who can resist Ruoliu's power, which is like that of the Empress of the human world, and the magical power of speaking and following the law? If the other party wants to die, he will die, with just one word. Even if he hides in the end of the world, it will be of no use.
It is almost certain death.
Okay, there is no need to discuss the matter of the deputy sect master. The most important thing for you now is to practice. Work hard to enhance your cultivation and contribute to the development and growth of Yen sect. Long said in a deep voice. Yes, senior brother Du Long. Everyone nodded. At this time, Bairuoliu had already left this place, but the discussions of many disciples just now still reached her ears, and she heard them. Empress? Hearing this, Bairuoliu suddenly smiled and recalled all the past events. To be honest, who would have thought that Bairuoliu was just a poor guy who had his engagement broken off? If Guyan hadn't suddenly appeared, then there was no chance of rising up at all. But she didn't expect that Guyan was so terrifying. With his own power, he not only created the super sect Yen sect, but also led the entire world to ascend together. This made her stunned. Even if she could not imagine it, she couldn't imagine that this kind of thing would happen. After all, the difficulty of a person ascending and leading the whole world to ascend is simply not the same level. What happened next also made her feel confused. Following Guyan, it was simply sweeping the entire world, no matter who they were, what sex or what forces. Everyone who dared to provoke them was destroyed and burned alive. In the end, no one dared to provoke them, but everyone surrendered and did not dare to talk nonsense. When the whole world came out, the whole world was unified by the Yen sect, and those who were still stubbornly resisting were already cold. And she also followed Guyan, possessing previously unimaginable strength and cultivation, and now she has become a famous empress. The unpredictable changes in the world are really unbelievable. Until now, she still occasionally wondered if she was having a sweet dream, the kind that she couldn't extricate herself from. All credit goes to the original author. If you're the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. Have a favorite novel you'd like to hear next? Leave a comment with your suggestions or vote for the next novel to be converted. Your feedback helps shape the future of Fabelverse. Let's make this community thrive together. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 1587.
Whoosh.
At this time, Bairuoliu came to Yenzong's headquarters and many Yenzong elders gathered. Where did the door owner go? Bairuoliu asked. The sect leader has left the Blue Ice Fairy domain. It is said that after defeating the domain lord of the Blue Ice Fairy domain, the sect leader seems to have found the headquarters of the Universe Virtual Company and is planning to go to the headquarters of the Universe Virtual Company to challenge these top experts. A Yen sect elder said in a deep voice.
What?
This fighting madman is really crazy. Bairuoliu twitched the corner of his mouth. Anyone who has no problem with his head will not challenge the 3 transcendent forces in the fairy world. This is a transcendent organization that surpasses many forces. Basically, 90% of the supermasters in the fairy world are concentrated in the 3 major forces. Among the transcendental forces, who dares to brag and stare at these three major forces. No one dares to be arrogant. But now, the master of his own family actually wants to directly establish the headquarters of the universe virtual company. This is too exaggerated. If word spreads, it will surely shock the fairy world. Why didn't you stop the sect master? Byruoliu gritted his teeth. Deputy sect master, there is nothing we can do to stop him. We have tried to persuade him again and again, but the sect master simply ignored us and just jumped into the void. Even if we wanted to catch up, there was nothing we could do. Our speed was simply not as fast as the sect master. Sir, you can't even fly a spaceship. Many elders said helplessly. They also naturally know how stupid it is to offend the universe virtual company. No matter how powerful it is, if it offends this transcendent force, I am afraid that there is no place for him in the fairy world. However, even so, no one in Yenzong can stop what Guyen does. As long as Guyen wants to do something, he will definitely not be able to stop it. They can only stare, helpless. Forget it. The matter has come to this. It's a done deal. There's nothing we can do about it. But even the universe virtual company may not be able to defeat the sect owner. Byruolia's beautiful eyes flashed, and she clenched her fists. At the same time, she also knew how terrifying Guyen was. Although he was just a young lady on the surface, he was actually a powerful chaos demon god, an invincible one. Kind of. Even the legendary universe virtual company may not be able to stop Guyen's flame. Even after being together for such a long time, she never knew where Guyen's limit was. That's right. The master's combat power is naturally invincible. Although the universe virtual company can be regarded as a superpower, the master of the sect is a rare monster in the history, an invincible god of war. This strength is enough to overthrow any holy land and power. Many Yen sect elders nodded in unison. They have not followed Guyen as long as Byruoliu. But they are also the core bosses of Yen sect, so they naturally know how terrifying Guyen's strength will be. It is no longer like the life born in the human world, or even the fairy world. It is a life from a higher latitude. Although the universe virtual company is indeed powerful and shocked the past and the present, compared with the ancient monster like Guyen, the two sides are fighting, and it may not be possible to determine the winner. Forget it. Let's ignore the sect master for the time being. How our Yen sect's plan is being implemented now is our Yen sect's top priority. Byruoliu waved his hand and immediately told the serious business of today's meeting. Discussing Guyen's whereabouts was just a trivial matter after dinner. In fact, they gathered here, and there were even more important events that could shake the three worlds and affect the future of the immortal world. It has been successfully implemented. Now there are 18 immortal realms under the control of our Yen sect. Every planet, every world, and every sun in these immortal realms has put down the flames of our Yen sect. As time goes by, the power of the flame seed will definitely become more and more powerful. An elder said. He smiled slightly, obviously very satisfied with the smooth progress of the plan. The so-called flame seed is the original power from the ancient flames. It is the original power of all flames and has all kinds of incredible specialties. Ability. Once these planets and worlds are integrated into the fire seed, they will be instantly controlled by the power of the ancient flames, and all the worlds will be enveloped within the influence of the fire seed. Especially after being integrated into the sun, anyone radiated by the sun, the world, or planet, their power will be affected by the flame seeds. Any place that light can reach is the domain of the flame seeds. And the flame seeds cannot be eradicated at all. They are integrated into the star core of the planet among them. It is integrated into the origin of the world, becoming a part of these planets and worlds, strengthening the origin of the world. It can be said that as long as there is a place with the flame seed, the power of the Yen sect disciples will be greatly improved. You will be blessed by the power of the flame seed at all times, and your combat power will soar. Very good. If we continue like this, we must let the flame seed spread throughout the fairy world, every planet, and every world. Byruoliu said in a deep voice. In this case, those books of magical powers will be invisible. You should also know that the reason why the Yen sect was established is because the sect master wanted to use our power to capture the magical powers scattered around the world. Book. Of course we know this. What the master wants to do is our lifelong dream. Don't worry, we will definitely finish this matter quickly, so that the entire fairy world will be enveloped in the glory of our Yen sect. If anyone dares to stop them, we will not be polite and will kill them without mercy immediately. When the master of the sect comes back, he will definitely be extremely happy. Many Yen sect elders nodded. Originally, Gu Yen had no interest in building a sect or establishing power, but if he wanted to find the Book of Magical Powers, he would be too weak alone. Only with the help of the power of the sect and the power of the forces can he search the entire fairy world and capture all these escaping magical books. In fact, this fire plan came into being because of this. Once fire is spread all over the fairy world, with the power of fire, the power of flames and flames merge with each other to form a boundless fire field. By then, all books of magical powers will be invisible. Of course, the fire plan is very important to Yenzong. The development and growth of fire also has great benefits. After all, the power of fire is also a huge blessing to the combat power of Yenzong disciples. As long as they are in the field of fire, they will be able to recover their strength and recover from their injuries. The huge improvement is as if the power of the gods is blessing me. All credit goes to the original author. If you're the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelverseaudio@gmail.com. Have a favorite novel you'd like to hear next? Leave a comment with your suggestions or vote for the next novel to be converted. Your feedback helps shape the future of Fabelverse. Let's make this community thrive together. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 1588. At this moment, the star field is chaotic. Whoosh whoosh. In an instant, a group of immortals drove a spaceship and suddenly appeared in this boundless star field, and this group of immortals were the elites from heaven. The leader is the quasi-sage Blackstone Taoist. However, there are two special figures among this group of elites. One is Meng Luqing, who has mastered the Book of Changes, and the other is Xianxia, who has mastered the Book of Qimenduanjia. They did not join the three transcendent forces, but chose to join the Heavenly Court and became a member of the Heavenly Court. At this time, they were sent by the Heavenly Court to perform tasks in the chaotic star territory. Lord Blackstone, I wonder where the so-called chaotic star field is? Meng Luqing asked curiously. You actually don't know where the chaos star territory is? Some immortal asked in surprise. It's normal. Miss Meng is an immortal who ascended from the human world to the immortal world. She arrived in the immortal world not long ago, so it's normal for her not to know where the chaotic immortal realm is. Taoist Haishi smiled slightly. Miss Meng, I believe you also know that the area of the immortal world is simply boundless, and it is twice as huge as the human world. And our heavenly court is the largest force that rules the entire immortal world, but it does not mean that our heavenly court controls every place in the immortal world. In fact, there are still many lawless zones in the fairy world, and there is still a large part of the area that our heaven cannot control, and the chaotic star field is one of them. Is the chaotic star field a place where even the power of heaven cannot touch it? Meng Luqing was shocked. According to her understanding, the power of heaven is unparalleled. It controls the sky, the earth, and the air. The reason why the entire fairy world is so orderly is because heaven has absolute dominance. Other races, other forces, they all had to obey. It was because of this that she chose to join the heavenly court among the so-called 6 gates for cultivation. And the reason why she did not participate in the cosmic genius battle was because of the dissuasion from the Book of Magical Powers in her body, and she must not expose her true nature. Identity. So she hid in heaven. In this way, not only can she hide her identity, but she can also obtain the cultivation resources given by heaven. No matter how you look at it, this is a huge benefit. That's right, although the Chaos Star Territory is just a star territory, in fact it is a collective name for many star territories. Its area is so large that even the combined area of all the fairy realms ruled by Heavenly Court is completely incomparable. Taoist Blackstone said solemnly, "There are many lives that occupy the chaotic immortal realm. In addition to those lawless elements, criminals who have violated the laws of the immortal realm and escaped, forces and races who do not want to be bound by the immortal realm, and all kinds of careerists, and most importantly, the descendants of those space sea monsters." Descendants of space sea monsters? Xianxia was also surprised and couldn't help but look at his leader, Taoist Blackstone. In fact, before the Six Paths universe completely unified the entire cosmic, after all, the environment in the chaotic star territory is too complex, with various meteorite belts, various planet belts, as well as caves, secret worlds, etc. hidden deep in the void. The power of those monsters is indeed powerful, but in terms of means, the immortals are more powerful, which results in them not having much control over the chaotic star field. After hearing this, many magical books couldn't help but nod. It is indeed true. Compared with other places, the environment in the chaotic star territory is extremely complicated and terrifying. If it is described as a vast world, the place controlled by the Heavenly Court is an extremely prosperous place like Middle-earth that is suitable for life, but the chaotic star territory is equivalent to desolate areas such as the southern barbarians and the northern wilderness. These areas have hundreds of thousands of mountains, rolling hills, and complex terrain. There are many miasmas. In short, in ancient times, these places were places where prisoners were exiled. The chaotic star territory is such a place, and compared with the so-called southern barbarians and northern wildernesses, the terrain is many times more complicated, and it can trigger triggers at every turn. Interstellar disaster. So, what are your plans? A book of magical powers asked curiously. It's very simple. The most precious places in the chaotic star territory are actually those dimensional worlds, cave heavens and paradises, and secret worlds. The Book of Darkness smiled slightly. These places are extremely secretive. Not to mention the immortals in the immortal world. Even the monsters can't discover them. After all, they are hidden in the depths of the dimension, the depths of time and space. This is indeed the case. These secret worlds are indeed extremely secretive and cannot be discovered by ordinary people. If there are no definite spatial coordinates, trying to find a secret world in a chaotic star field is simply a fantasy, as incredible as finding a needle in a haystack. I see. I understand what you mean. Book of Darkness, do you want to occupy these secret worlds? Many books of magical powers were talking about it. Some smart books of magical powers understood the idea of the Book of Darkness in an instant. That's right, it means occupying those secret worlds. The Book of Darkness said categorically, "To be honest, the area of those secret worlds is no less than those of the great worlds of the fairy world, and they contain countless lives. Moreover, the secret world breeds endless resources, which are simply not comparable to the outside world. If we can occupy all the secret worlds, then we can control an unimaginable power and accumulate endless resources." I see. This is indeed a very clever plan. In fact, those secret worlds are all lawless places. Not only the immortals in heaven cannot control them, but also the monster clan cannot control them. If we occupy these secret worlds and the blessed land of Cave Heaven, we can occupy a large number of fairyland territories in an instant. The benefits of this are not just that because those secret worlds are their own space, so no matter what happens inside, no one outside can know. In other words, we can do whatever we want in these secret worlds without worrying about what we do being leaked. Hi, it's really a brilliant plan. Once we occupy these secret worlds, we can immediately rule the boundless territory, harvest a lot of resources, and quickly unlock the seals on ourselves. Yes, when we have accumulated enough strength to fight out from those secret worlds and sweep across the fairy world, then the many immortals in the fairy world will not be able to resist our soldiers. No, this plan is more than that. After controlling these secret worlds, we can attack when we advance and defend when we retreat. Once you see that the situation is not going well, immediately retreat to the secret world. When the time comes, close the space gate of the secret world, and no one can attack. This is a powerful fortress. Yes, we can completely build these secret worlds into strong nests, and no matter what, outsiders will not be able to break in. Haha, in this case, wouldn't we be invincible? Even if the attack on the immortal world fails, we will not lose too much and can still stand firm. Is this the strategy of building walls high, hoarding supplies, and becoming king slowly? It is indeed a book of darkness. It is really cunning and calculating, and you have figured out everything. Many books of magical powers were suddenly excited. They have seen the feasibility of this plan. If they continue to implement this plan, their book of magical powers will have their own foothold in the fairy world. By then, even guys like Gu Lily along the way, there is nothing we can do about their books of magical powers. However, I think this plan still has a huge shortcoming. At this time, a book of magical powers spoke. That's why those secret worlds are so secretive and hidden in the void. Even the immortals and indigenous monsters can't be found. How can we find them? After hearing this, many books of magical powers were extremely frustrated. Indeed, it was true. To be honest, someone must have thought of such a plan before, but they could not succeed. It is because the specific locations of those secret worlds are so difficult to find. This is like looking for a needle in a haystack. Even if you spend a lot of time, you may not be able to find many secret worlds. Over time, no one will do such stupid things. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. Have a favorite novel you'd like to hear next? Leave a comment with your suggestions or vote for the next novel to be converted. Your feedback helps shape the future of Fabelverse. Let's make this community thrive together. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 1593. Haha, I have thought of this a long time ago. If I didn't solve the biggest flaw of this plan, how could I have summoned you here for no reason? The Book of Darkness laughed, looking very proud. Oh, what's your solution? Many books on supernatural powers asked out of curiosity. Treasure Book, you come out and tell them your solution. The Book of Darkness said immediately. Whoosh! Suddenly, a book of magical powers jumped out. Dense treasures appeared on the cover of the book, and there seemed to be a huge golden compass on it, which was unfathomable. Everyone could feel it. The mysterious power of this magical book. Hello, everyone. I am a treasure hunter. I believe you all know my ability, which is to find treasures in the world. My books can automatically search for treasure places from all over the world. The treasure hunting book said, Actually, I ascended to the immortal realm from the beginning and have been in the immortal realm for hundreds of years. After hundreds of years of searching, I have searched every place in the Chaotic Star territory and recorded the Chaotic Star realm. All the secret worlds in the domain, the specific location of the cave, heaven, paradise. Because of this, I drew maps of these places. With this Marauder's map, you can find all the secret worlds in the Chaotic Star field.
What?
As soon as these words came out, many books of magical powers were extremely shocked and dumbfounded. They didn't expect that the Book of Treasure Hunting had secretly done this, and everything was ready. Book of Darkness, did you prepare this plan hundreds of years ago? A book of magical powers couldn't help but ask. Certainly. The Book of Darkness said matter-of-factly. Don't worry about victory. Think about defeat first. When we were in the human world, I knew that we couldn't stay in the human world for a long time, and we would definitely be defeated in the fairy world. So, at the beginning, I let the Book of Treasure Hunt fly to the fairy world to prepare in advance for our future base camp of the Book of Supernatural Powers, so that we can be invincible.
This.
Many books of magical powers were shocked. They did not expect that the Book of Darkness would be so cunning. It had planned this scene hundreds of years ago, and had made preparations in advance. What exactly is the so-called Marauder's map? Someone couldn't help but ask. This map is movable because many secret worlds are difficult to find because they are in the process of constant movement, causing them to appear in different places every time. The treasure hunting book explained, in order to accurately measure the location of these secret worlds, I made the Marauders point map so that no matter where they appear, they can be found. Awesome, really awesome. Many books of supernatural powers have been so impressed that they don't know what to say. If they have this Marauders map, they can easily find those secret worlds. Book of Darkness, I have to admire your foresight in making such preparations in advance, but what I also don't understand is that since you have mastered this Marauders map, why don't you occupy all these secret worlds? Open to us. The Book of Supernatural Powers asked in confusion, staring at the Book of Darkness. It didn't believe that the Book of Darkness was so kind and would give them such great benefits for no reason. There is no love for no reason in this world, and there is no pie in the sky. It's a good thing. The other books of magical powers were immediately awe-inspiring. After being reminded, they also realized this, because if they obtained the Marauders map, why didn't they occupy all the secret worlds? Why let them occupy it? It's like giving up your gold mine. That's because I don't have enough strength. The Book of Darkness said straightforwardly, the chaotic star territory is really too big. There are countless secret worlds in it, as many as the number of stars. I can't occupy all of these secret worlds. I can occupy 100% of them. Even if one is good, if it occupies too much, it will suffer backlash. Therefore, instead of wasting these secret worlds, it is better to hand them over to you and let you occupy them. In this way, the power of our Book of Magical Powers clan will increase dramatically. After all, in the face of future crises, I alone cannot resist it. All helpers must be united. Only then can there be a glimmer of hope. Of course, you don't need to worry about me having any special plots. The best secret world has been occupied by me, and the rest are inferior secret worlds for you to occupy at will. What? After hearing this, many books of magical powers twitched their mouths and looked speechless. They did not expect that the Book of Darkness was so direct and had no intention of concealing its intentions. But this made them feel relieved. After all, if the other party, if they don't intend to occupy any interests, then they will still doubt whether the Book of Darkness has any special purpose. However, in order to avoid the internal friction of our Book of Magical Powers, you can only take part of the Marauders map, and you can only occupy part of the secret world to which you belong, and you cannot cross the border to rob the secret world of other books of magical power. The Book of Darkness said in a deep voice. It first divides the corresponding territories for the many books of magical powers. Each book of magical powers occupies a part of the territory, so that everyone is in harmony with each other. In this way, they will not be in conflict with each other. They need to fight for each other's territory. If they don't divide their interests first, the books of magical powers will fight among themselves. When the time comes, they won't need the enemy to come to the door. They will start to self-destruct first. So in order to avoid this happening, we need to divide our interests first. Don't worry, we naturally understand the seriousness of the matter and will never fight over it just to compete for some benefits hand. You are right. Now that we are facing a powerful enemy, if we fight among ourselves, wouldn't it be an advantage to others? Even so, you still underestimate us too much. We will definitely not fight with other magical books because of these interests, and we know this very well. Many magical books said proudly, saying that they would not take action against their companions before they had defeated the powerful enemy. This approach was to take advantage of the enemy. If this is the case, that would be great. After our power has fully grown, all so-called enemies will not be taken seriously by us. When the time comes, we will unify the fairy world and divide the fairy world into the territory of our Book of Magical Powers. Everyone will you all have to listen to the face of our magical book. The Book of Darkness said in a deep voice, it will cover the fairyland with boundless darkness. Yes. Many books of magical powers are filled with murderous intent and do not hide their ambitions at all. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. Have a favorite novel you'd like to hear next? Leave a comment with your suggestions or vote for the next novel to be converted. Your feedback helps shape the future of Fabelverse. Let's make this community thrive together. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 1594. It didn't take long for this gathering of the Book of Magical Powers to end. And in this dimensional hotel, only the Book of Darkness, the Book of Treasure Hunting, the Book of Travel, the Book of Curses, and other magical books are left. They are all magical books of the same gang. Book of Darkness. Do we really hand over the spatial coordinates of these secret worlds to those guys? These are the spatial coordinates that we have worked hard to collect for hundreds of years. To hand them over so easily, I always feel that we have suffered a big loss. Treasure Hunting Book gritted his teeth and said, "That's right, they don't have to pay any price. They just sit back and enjoy what they get. No matter how you think about it, I feel very unhappy. They all come to pick peaches here." The Book of Curses said coldly, "Don't feel like you're at a disadvantage. This is all our strategy. If you think about it carefully, can we occupy so many secret worlds with our strength?" The Book of Darkness asked back. "Although we are very reluctant to admit this, we cannot control so many secret worlds with our strength, not even 1%. The Book of Travel said very realistically, "Although their strength is indeed pretty good, there are too many of these secret worlds, and they are in a sealed state and cannot exert too much power in a short period of time."
Strength.
After all, their military strength is actually limited, not unlimited. That's right, since we can't control it, we naturally have to give it away. Otherwise, resources that we can't really control are actually not much different from waste paper. The Book of Darkness said in a deep voice, "And this will also benefit us a lot, and we will not all suffer losses. This is the strategic plan of our Book of Magical Powers clan." Benefit? What are the benefits? I didn't expect any benefits. I always felt that I was at a disadvantage. The Book of Treasure Hunting said with a depressed look. It felt that all the spatial coordinates it had worked so hard to collect had been given away, just like cutting flesh on itself, and it didn't know how painful it was. If it weren't for the Book of Darkness, the Order, it doesn't want to hand it over for no reason. It always feels that it has suffered a big loss. Of course there are benefits. The Book of Darkness smiled slightly. To be honest, our biggest enemy has always been watching us. It's just that we haven't found our whereabouts now. Once discovered, it will be our annihilation. Many books of magical powers have been captured before. Yes, I believe you also know the seriousness of the matter. Indeed. Many books of magical powers couldn't help but nod. It was precisely because of the fact that many books of magical powers were caught that they were completely shocked and made them abandon all prejudices and start to cooperate sincerely. If there is no threat from the enemy, they will be killed. It's impossible for them to unite, and it will be fine if they don't fight among themselves. If we give these secret worlds to other books of magical powers, then these books of magical powers can immediately become powerful combat forces and increase the strength of the Book of Magical Powers clan. The Book of Darkness said, "It can be said that one of our most important goals now is to enhance our own strength, and the second is to increase the strength of our companions. When the two are combined, it is simply invincible. Although we gave up those secret worlds, in fact we have a group of powerful allies. When enemies really attack us, they will be the best barrier and the best help." I see, I understand. You handed over so many spatial coordinates, just to recruit a group of cannon fodder to share the pressure for us. The Book of Curses immediately understood the plan of the Book of Darkness. Just throwing in a few bones would attract a group of dogs to do things for him. It was a very good deal no matter how you looked at it. It could be said to be the kind that would make a huge profit. Moreover, they cannot occupy those secret worlds. Now, throwing them all away is just a favor. Why not do it? The most important thing is that they only give out some unimportant secret worlds. Really, the important and precious secret world has long been occupied by them. Where can I get other magical books? You can't say that. After all, they are our allies and cannot be said to be cannon fodder. Book of Darkness waved his hand. The stronger the allies, the greater the benefits to us, isn't it? In the face of a formidable enemy, we cannot say such words that are not unitive at all. And no one is a fool. If my plan really contains evil intentions, those books of magical powers would have launched an attack long ago. How could they calmly form an alliance with us? It can be said that this is a mutually beneficial conspiracy, which is naturally good for us, but there is no doubt that the benefits are greater for other books of magical powers. Its eyes revealed a glint of wisdom. Sharp. The Book of Curses sighed. I originally thought that you, Book of Darkness, would only play some conspiracies and tricks, but I didn't expect that you would actually perform such an upright conspiracy. It's really unbelievable. I have never liked to use any tactics. I just like to push forward all the way and destroy the enemy with overwhelming force, causing the enemy to be wiped out in an instant. The Book of Darkness said, it's a pity that God doesn't fulfill our wishes. Sometimes we can't have absolute power, and the enemy is not vulnerable, so we can only use tactics. Conspiracies and tricks can only be regarded as part of the strategy. The real strategy, the real plan, is the general trend of the world. Gathering the power of the world and openly destroying the enemy, leaving the enemy helpless no matter what method he comes up with. This is the real general trend. The plan is as bright as the sun. Although it is in darkness, it yearns for light. Darkness is not evil. It is just a kind of attribute power. People in the world hate darkness on the surface, but in fact they also rely on darkness and always live in light. I am afraid that it is not at all I can't sleep well and have a good rest. It can be said that people in the world long for light and also long for darkness. Although I don't know what you're talking about, Book of Darkness, I always think it's awesome. In short, my brain is not good. I will listen to you, Book of Darkness, as long as I can survive in this world. You're right. Even if you fail, you can still make a big fuss, and your trip to this world will be worthwhile. Many books of magical power shouted. Stop chirping here. We still have a lot of things to do next. We must not be discovered by the monsters in the monster country, otherwise our plan may be in vain. The Book of Darkness reminded that even though part of the plan has been implemented now, it is still extremely cautious. It will not be careless until the plan is completely successful. After all, an unexpected factor may lead to the failure of the plan. All the hard work all in vain. Don't worry, we're keeping an eye on it. Many books on magical powers patted their chests, indicating that this matter was foolproof. All credit goes to the original author. If you're the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. Have a favorite novel you'd like to hear next? Leave a comment with your suggestions or vote for the next novel to be converted. Your feedback helps shape the future of Fabelverse. Let's make this community thrive together. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 1595. At this time, many magical books had left the Dimension Tavern. However, most of the magical books are not very familiar. They only form a small circle of 2s and 3s. After leaving the Dimensional Tavern, they gathered together immediately. Xianxia, who controls the Book of Qimenduanjia, Meng Luqing, who controls the Book of Change and magical books such as the Book of Inspiration, the Book of Anger, and the Book of Purification are also gathered together. They also appeared in a unique space in Dark Star to talk. What do you think of Book of Darkness plans? The Book of Purification spoke first. There is no doubt that the guy from Book of Darkness is very smart. The reason why he gives such great benefits is simply to let us act as a barrier and cannon fodder for them. The Book of Encouragement sneered. We, the books of magical powers, go out with great fanfare to seize control of these secret worlds, and we are bound to conflict with countless powers. At that time, we will appear under the spotlight and become the focus of the Chaos Star territory, while guys like the Book of Darkness will be able to quietly make a fortune and continue to develop and expand their power. By the time we finish conquering those secret worlds, I'm afraid the power of the Dark Book guys has accumulated to a certain level, and they will be able to completely overpower us. It saw the conspiracy of the Book of Darkness at a glance. Damn it! I already knew that this guy from Book of Darkness was very insidious. I didn't expect that he wanted to use us as cannon fodder. I'm going to tear it up right now. The Book of Anger suddenly became angry, very angry. Unimaginable anger emerged from it, and it simply burned everything. Book of Anger, don't be nervous. Although the Book of Darkness does have evil intentions, It does give us huge benefits. This is a benefit that cannot be refused. The Book of Encouragement sighed. After all, we are all rootless magical books. We have no territory of our own, no base of our own, and we will die sooner or later. But now, the emergence of the secret world has given us an opportunity to build a base. It can show that we know that this may be candy containing poison, and we must swallow it. This is the brilliance of the Book of Darkness. Although we all know that there is a conspiracy in it, and may have to block the gun for the Book of Darkness, we have to follow this plan. This is Dill's conspiracy. It also has to admire the brain of the Book of Darkness. He is indeed a conspirator with a master's collection of conspiracies. There is nothing we can do about it. There is no love for no reason in this world, and there is no hate for no reason. If the Book of Darkness has no purpose, I would find it strange. Now that I know the purpose of the Book of Darkness, it is very simple to deal with it. The Book of Purification said in a deep voice, "You are right, and these secret worlds are indeed what we need." The Book of Changes couldn't help but nod. Without these bases, we would not be able to develop quickly and have strong power quickly. Other books of magical powers also agree with this. Although they also know that the Book of Darkness has bad intentions, but compared with the benefits obtained, this bad intention is nothing. Everything in this world has benefits. It's just a big or small difference. The question now is, how should you choose? You are people from the Heavenly Court. Once our Book of Magical Powers develops, we will definitely conflict with the Heavenly Court. Which side will you choose? The Book of Anger stared at Xianxia and Meng Luqing. Suddenly, Xianxia and Meng Luqing felt huge pressure. It seemed that if they didn't answer well, they would be burned alive by the other party's anger. There would be no intact corpses. Doubt, this Book of Anger is definitely not a good thing. Do you even need to ask? Since I have mastered the Book of Magical Powers, I am naturally a member of the Book of Magical Powers clan, and since I have come to attend your meeting and have boarded the pirate ship, can I still run away? Xianxia said lightly. His attitude was very calm. That's right. We are all immortals who ascended from the human world, and we are not particularly loyal to heaven. If we have the opportunity to create a force that is no less powerful than heaven, why not do it? It's better to be your own boss than to work for someone else. Meng Luqing also said it very straightforwardly. They are not that loyal to heaven. After all, they are mortals living in the human world. They just practiced all the way and finally ascended to the fairy world. If you want them to be loyal to heaven, I'm afraid it's not possible for the time being.
No.
And their interests lie in the Book of Magical Powers. If they lose the Book of Magical Powers, then they will lose the opportunity for promotion. This is something they cannot tolerate. After some simple calculations, Daisy knew which side he should be on. Hearing this, the Book of Anger suddenly laughed. Not bad, not bad. It seems that the quality of the host of the Book of Magical Powers this time is pretty good. I can barely treat you as my companions. As for what will happen in the future, it depends on your performance. But what are you going to do now? Are you going to leave heaven, or are you going to stay in heaven? Naturally, he stayed in heaven. Xianxia said matter-of-factly. To be honest, since we will conflict with heaven sooner or later, how can we not have the ears and eyes left in heaven? If I am in heaven and can hold a high position, I will be able to know the future dynamics of heaven in detail, which is of great benefit to the Book of Magical Powers clan. Of course, the most important thing is that I can also use the resources of heaven to continuously enhance my own strength. I don't know how much cultivation resources this can save. This is to gather the wool of heaven. So, are you planning to stay in heaven as a spy? The Book of Anger immediately understood Xianxia's thoughts. It gave Xianxia a deep look. But being a spy is a very dangerous thing. Once exposed, the consequences will be disastrous. Is there any danger? The Book of Magical Powers clan has not yet had any conflict with heaven. Since there has been no conflict, there is no possibility of me being exposed. Xianxia smiled slightly. Even if I am really exposed in the future, with the power of the Book of Chimendunjia, it will be easy for me to escape from the Tianting headquarters. She has already planned her escape route. That's right. I dare not say anything else. When it comes to escaping, there are indeed very few people who can compare to my Chimen Dunjia book. The Book of Chimen Dunjia also said proudly. Haha, yes, yes, with you as the internal support of the heaven and the internal and external cooperation, maybe we can really overthrow the heaven and create our own heavenly power. The Book of Purification was very excited. The other books of magical powers couldn't help but nodded, and they were all extremely excited. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. Have a favorite novel you'd like to hear next? Leave a comment with your suggestions or vote for the next novel to be converted. Your feedback helps shape the future of Fabelverse. Let's make this community thrive together. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 1596. A few more days passed. Taoist Blackstone and others finally spent a lot of effort to sneak into the capital of monsters, Monster World. This is a super world with an area comparable to the prehistoric world. Its area is boundless, and it is a super world that combines many worlds. Many monsters live in this super world. Only such a super world can accommodate many huge monsters. At the same time, this world is extremely rich in resources and materials. Otherwise, it would not be able to accommodate the appetites of monsters. Sooner or later, these monsters will eat up everything. It was actually unified, and law and order began to exist. Taoist Blackstone was taken aback. He transformed into a little monster and sneaked into the monster world. Normally, a little monster like him is extremely weak, and a creature at the low end of the food chain can easily be killed by a powerful monster. He stared at it and ate it in one bite. However, he had been in this world for so many days and had encountered powerful monsters. However, the other party just glanced at him and ignored him. He turned around and left, as if he was not interested in such a small treat of his. The interest is the same. If he hadn't witnessed it with his own eyes, he wouldn't have believed that such a thing would happen in the kingdom of monsters. It was not just as simple as having legal order, but it also formed its own city and country, began to have cultural exchanges, and created its own words. I really didn't expect that the monster clan that symbolized chaos, killing, and darkness actually began to change. It has to be so orderly. Meng Luqing also transformed into a monster and entered this place. She also saw the changes in the monster clan. Many monsters did not live in their own lairs, but chose to live in cities. Of course, monster cities also have unique characteristics. The style is that one dark nest is superimposed one after another, densely packed, and it looks like a honeycomb from a distance, which makes one's scalp numb. Entering this monster city like a honeycomb, the roads are overlapping and winding. With 9 twists and turns, it is easy to get lost in it and never come out. At the same time, each nest is the territory of a monster. Other monsters cannot break in. Otherwise, they will be regarded as enemies. Even if they are killed, even if you die, you will be guiltless, and you will not be able to blame others. Lord Blackstone, it seems that the monster race has really evolved in the direction of a civilized race. A completely unified monster race will definitely be a serious problem for heaven and even all races in the world in the future. Xianxia said in a deep voice. She also transformed into a monster and lurked with Taoist Blackstone to inquire about the information here. But the more she inquired, the more frightened she became. Feeling the power of the monster family is simply unimaginable. If the Book of Magical Powers clan wants to occupy the chaotic star territory, they will inevitably conflict with the monster clan, so they must understand the details and strength of the monster clan in advance. It is indeed a serious problem, but so what? We can't stop it at all. Taoist Blackstone is very helpless. Anyone with a discerning eye can see the threat of the monster clan, but the problem is that the monster clan is in the chaotic star field. The terrain of this place is very complex. Even the immortals in heaven do not understand this place. If the army is dispatched to annihilate these monsters, it is likely that they will not be annihilated by the opponent, but their own army will be annihilated by the monsters. It can be said that relying on the terrain of the chaotic star territory, these monsters have already stood firm. They were defeated. Even if they knew the threat from the other side, they had nothing to do.
Boom tilde tilde.
At this moment, the entire monster world suddenly shook, buzzing, and bursts of horn sounds were heard, spreading throughout the world. Every corner, countless monsters heard it. Immediately afterwards, many monsters began to crawl out of their lairs and gathered in the altars of their cities. What happened? What happened? Taoist Blackstone was stunned. He had been sneaking into the monster world for so many days, and this was the first time he encountered such a thing. He really didn't know what happened. I don't know, just go and take a look and you'll know. Anyway, something big must have happened. Maybe it's related to the secret of the monster country. Xianxia said immediately. Of course, she knew the danger, but if you don't enter the tiger's den, you can't catch the tiger's cub. If you don't take the risk, you will never know the secret. You're right, follow immediately. Taoist Blackstone also nodded, agreeing with the plan. Whoosh whoosh. Not long after, they followed the large army of monsters and arrived at the center of the city. There was a huge altar on the ground. An extremely complex restriction formation was deployed, covering hundreds of millions of kilometers. They saw bursts of awe and felt that this was a powerful chaos restriction, which was not comparable to ordinary restriction formations. Once it broke out, the power exerted is simply unimaginable. Even according to their power, they cannot escape and are almost certain to die. Everyone immediately became careful and must not reveal their true identity, otherwise they will be dead. Who will do it? It is impossible to save them. At this moment, monsters are chatting, as if they are very familiar with such a scene. Has the summoning ritual started again? Yes, this summoning ceremony is very large. It is basically held once a year. I don't know which qualified person will be selected. It would be great if I was selected. Yes, I have stayed in this place for a long time, and I have long been tired of it. If I go to other places to play, it is also a good choice. I don't want to be the nanny of those creatures. It's not interesting at all. This is not your choice. If your soul resonates with the soul of the qualified person, a contract will be concluded immediately, a sacred and ancient contract will be formed, and you will be teleported away in an instant. Yes, these are the rules set by the king, a definite contract, and no one can break it, even if it means death. Many monsters were talking about this matter. Summoning ritual? What does the summoning ritual mean? Taoist Blackstone couldn't help but ask. He was completely confused now and didn't know what was going on. Brother, is this your first time participating? Is it a monster coming in from outside? A monster nearby heard these words and asked curiously. Yes, I'm a new monster. It's my first time to participate in this kind of thing. I don't know what happened. I wonder if you can explain it to me. Taoist Haishi immediately hit the snake and stuck it on the stick, wanting to know more about this matter. It turned out to be a new brother. No wonder she didn't understand the summoning ceremony. In fact, it was a rule set by the king. She created a sect named 10,000 Beasts Sect. The monster said, all credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. Have a favorite novel you'd like to hear next? Leave a comment with your suggestions or vote for the next novel to be converted. Your feedback helps shape the future of Fabelverse. Let's make this community thrive together. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 1597.
10,000 Beasts Sect.
What is this? Many saints were talking about it. To be honest, they didn't expect that so many immortals would ascend to the divine realm in these thousands of years. This was something that had never happened before. This also made them very surprised and shocked. They were all discussing what is the reason? No, there is actually another reason that you have not considered. That is, this calamity of heaven and earth forced those old antiques to ascend to the god realm. Originally, those old antiques suppressed and sealed their own cultivation and have been hiding in the fairy world and have been reluctant to do so. To ascend to the divine world is to become a mountain king in the fairy world. A saint smiled slightly. After all, according to their cultivation and strength, once they ascend to the god realm, I'm afraid they will have to start from scratch. The previous position of domination will suddenly become a position of bowing and groveling. This way the status gap is something not everyone can bear. For those old guys, the gap in status and treatment between ascending to the God realm and staying in the immortal realm is really too big. Living there is not life anyway, so they would rather stay in the immortal realm than ascend to the immortal realm. For a long time, no one knew how many old antiques that did not want to ascend were hidden in the fairy world, but now, the calamity of heaven and earth suddenly broke out, affecting every corner of the fairy world. Even if these old antiques go into seclusion, seal themselves, and hide at the end of the fairy world, they cannot escape this catastrophe, which also forces these old antiques into a life and death crisis. Because of this, in order to survive, those old antiques began to lift the seals on themselves one by one, and all of them ascended to the divine world, so the number of saints naturally increased greatly during this period. After hearing this, many gods were speechless and didn't know what to say. To be honest, this is not impossible, and the possibility is extremely high. In fact, most of the saints who ascended during this period were I don't know how many millions of years of old antiques have been in the immortal world. Not only did those guys not show any joy when they ascended to the divine world, but they all had bitter expressions on their faces, as if they had been sent to the frontier, lifeless and extremely aggrieved. No wonder those old antiques are so frustrated. After all, according to their quasi-sage level cultivation, they are invincible in the fairy world. Who can stop their power? But after ascending to the fairy world, each of them becomes the weakest saint. Being able to carry shoes for other saints and be the younger brother is a huge gap in status. Those old antiques with no ambitions naturally don't want to live such a life. They all have sealed cultivation and refuse to ascend. But now, in the world of immortality, the appearance of the calamity forced them to ascend. The frustration of being forced to ascend naturally made them very painful, as if they were being forced to climb a mountain. All credit goes to the original author. If you're the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. Have a favorite novel you'd like to hear next? Leave a comment with your suggestions or vote for the next novel to be converted. Your feedback helps shape the future of Fabelverse. Let's make this community thrive together. If you enjoyed this journey through the Fabelverse, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss the next chapter. Want to support the storytellers behind the scenes? Check the description for donation links, author credits, and more. Until next time, stay curious and keep listening.